we are children matter. We fight for our children. We fight for our children's future. Fight for our children's country. Children always matter.
Love
So
that.
we've got
You.
It's what Redfield Phil made me. I was buzzing about it. Apart from the fact it says my name over and over again.
Yeah, but you know what you need? You know when you're really shouting it out? When you're doing your little demos and stuff, when you're doing that with the voiceover, I think, because it's more powerful.
I need to do that. It was a quick one. It was a quick one where he told me to send him a voice note, so I sent him a voice note. Let's see if I can get everything up on my screen without everything fucking going mad. We're actually live on, we should be live on DLive as well, which is another streaming platform.
Right. Well, I shared it out to VK and Facebook. So,
For some reason it's saying it's unable to connect to DLive. Why is it unable to connect to DLive? Because we should be live on there as well.
Check the comments. Now I know how to do it without turning myself off.
I don't even know how to do this.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Just looked at the time there. Yeah, everybody's well.
I'm going to have to figure out how to work DLive another time because for some reason it's not working.
I don't know if I've never heard of it before.
It would have been our first time using it if it had worked, but it's for some reason it's just not connecting to it.
Loving my new hoodie.
I love your hoodie. I do love it. I've been buzzing every time someone's been sending me pictures and that. I've been absolutely buzzing over it.
Look, I'll show everybody the back. Can you see?
Aye. Yeah, I love the Galaxy one. I think the Galaxy one's ace. Right, so we're on Wake Up UK. We're on the Emergency channel as well as the Children Matter channel. Children Matter's Facebook as well as personal Facebook and VK. So we're on a couple of different ones. Should give MJ McGurk a shout out to do a live with you. I'll have to look into that. Hello, Steve. Hello, everybody. Timmy, Hannah, Matt, Coleman, Alan, Nadia, Lee, Obi. I need to keep remembering it's Obi. He doesn't like Gaza. We are going to have someone else join us shortly as well. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Sharon.
I just say hello. No, I'm just saying hello, people, rather than names. Everybody.
Yeah, we will have another guest joining us shortly as well, our surprise guest. So it should be fun. Should be interesting. A link to the DLive I can do, but for some reason it's not working. Is it not in the description? There should be in the description. Let me have a look. Yeah, the link for all the channels are all in the description. So you can get all the links and everything from the description for all the other channels. And as soon as I figure out how to work DLive, we'll be laughing. But for some reason it's not working.
If I'm looking a bit pink, it's because I derma rolled my face this morning. Are you coming on the show? Oh, yeah, all right.
Well, you always look stunning when you come on anyway.
If it's just looking, it's all pink and swollen.
No, you look all right. You look perfect.
Thank you.
So Timmy's put time for a cuppa and a catch up of the week. I mean, I've got myself hot chocolate and everything, and I've prepared it all, ready to just do, and I've not done it. Hi, Joe. Joe Blair's watching as well.
Hello, Joe. Long time no see.
He's watching over on Facebook.
Hope everybody's well.
Timmy's put good to know that there are still real ladies about. I mean, I wouldn't call myself a lady, to be honest, especially not anyone who's seen the show that I did with my son's godmother, my best mate. Because, I mean, yeah, anyone who watched that wouldn't have called me, like me or her, a lady afterwards. We belched a bit.
Yeah.
So, a lot of things have been going on within the campaign lately. Obviously, I'm not fully aware of everything that's been going on. But I am aware that stuff has been going on, that tension's now sky high with a lot of people and with a lot of groups and a lot of subjects. And to be honest, it's hard. It's hard to stay neutral and, out of it when everything's going tits up around.
Yeah, and if when people try to drag you into their shit as well, it's not fair. I think you just have to keep focused, don't you, on what your part in all of this is and what you can do every day to make a difference, and forget what everybody else is whinging about or falling out about. I think a lot of people have gone COVID crazy as well, lockdown crazy, whatever. But chomping at the bit to get on the street, no doubts, but don't want to end up beaten up by the police. Choices, but yeah, we just got to keep the faith, keep yourself to yourself, and carry on doing what you need to do to make a better society, really, because that's what we're about, isn't it? A better society, better future for the kids.
Yeah, you got to fight for what you believe in. You got to fight for what you stand for. If you see wrongdoing, then speak up against it. Do something about it. If it's one of them. Everyone's got to work together. We're all in this together. We may not be in it side by side together, but there's a lot that's going on that we need to work on.
Yeah,
but got to try and stay positive as best as I can do.
People need to put the big boy pants on and be adult about things, and just talk to each other and not spread it over Facebook, or go around people try to divide and get on side or go against or whatever. It's not helping anybody. That you might have your opinions. Nobody likes everybody. We just all have to get on, don't we? But the common cause, the common denominator should be that, our kids are going to suffer. Our kids are going to bear the brunt of us allowing their freedoms and their rights to be taken away. They're the ones that have to live in the future that we're allowing to happen right now. And bitching against each other and being brainwashed and backstabbing, it just shows the character of the person, really.
It's like if you look at chickens, you look at chicken coops, if you've got masses of chickens all confined to one space, eventually they're going to get so frustrated that they're going to take it out on each other because they're frustrated and they can't do what they naturally want to do, what they're naturally programmed to do. And you see the difference, like when you see free-range chickens, like they're not attacking each other, they're not, they're breeding healthier eggs, they've got the space to roam around with, and you find that everything's a lot nicer. Like the production from them is a lot nicer, it's a lot more tender, it's a lot more, and you don't have to worry about them, beating the shit out of each other or killing each other because of them being frustrated and needing to take that frustration out. Because that's the thing, everyone who suffers with frustration, they have to get it out somehow. They have to release that. Sorry.
Then there's the battery hens that don't know any different, that have just been put in there, no, you can't move, they suffer, but they don't know they're suffering because they've not known anything else. And these people that I would consider, they're the ones that are asleep. They're the ones that are hypnotized by what they see on the TV. And I mean, I stopped watching it a long time ago, so I freed myself from all of that. But it's dividing families. Some are getting vaccines, some aren't. If you aren't, you're an anti-vaxxer. That's a new swear word, isn't it? The anti-vaxxers. They're going to be causing the demise of society. Let's not look at the real cause of it. Let's just blame our fellow neighbours and family and friends. Oh God, you're not getting the vaccine. What? You're the problem. Wait a minute.
But it's all frustration.
I think the problem starts a lot higher than me.
We've been locked down for nearly a year now, if not a year now. And if everyone isn't frustrated, then something's wrong. Because every single one of us should be frustrated, and you can see that people are frustrated because people are turning on one another. People are turning on friends, they're turning on family, they're turning on themselves in cases as well, where they've just had enough with them not being able to cope with it or deal with their frustration. And the problem is because a lot of us most of us, it's not the majority of us, have lived the majority of our lives free to an extent. The frustration is eating us alive, and it's making us retaliate a lot more in ways that we shouldn't actually retaliate. We should be, able to stop, think about things. If it is going to benefit us, is it going to benefit people around us? If not, then we need to look at a different alternative. But
on the plus side, though, you've got things that are taken away from us that people have that have been used as distractions for those people, all these leisure activities and sports and everything. And I think people have to look at what's really important now, and family and how you live your life and the environment you create is what's important. There's not so easy to distract unless you've got all the technology you need at home. You don't need to leave your house, or you work from home or whatever. But I think that it's an opportunity to see that schools are toxic, and kids probably fare better when parents are under pressure to try and teach them at home. But obviously you want your child to have some intelligence. Well, children have intelligence. All you have to do is teach them the basics, and you know, somewhere along the line they'll pick you up where their interest lies. And I think that's more productive for individuals than being cooped up in a classroom or being told what to learn and not being able to. We were talking about it earlier, weren't we, that people are lazy about doing their own research and would rather just follow the main narrative because it's easier than having to think, or it's easier than doing any research, because actually schools knocked the enthusiasm for research out of most people by the time they leave. And so I think this is maybe an opportunity for them young people to explore all of the arguments that are around now and find out for themselves what's behind what's going on, how the government operate, what communism actually means. I mean, you look at the Second World War and you know, the Jewish people having to wear a fucking star around their arm to identify themselves, and they did it because they wanted to go get the shopping or whatever. I was reading a story about the woman that survived that period, and she would take her armband off when she got on the bus to go into the city for school, and then put it back on when she got off the bus to go home, because she felt safe in her own area and didn't feel safe out in the town where she would be identified as being Jewish, for God's sake. She's still a human being, but all of a sudden it's like the mask wearers against the like, I don't wear a mask. People look at me like shit. Well, I'm sorry, but I've done some research and it's personal choice, and I can't physically have one of those things across my face. I refuse to put myself at risk because the government tell me to, because when you've done your research on the 100-year plan and the government and all of their agendas, you don't take what they say on face value. You know that everything that's coming out of the mouth is a lie or a manipulation, and where I can see where it's going. Most people can't. Those people going through the gas chambers still believing that they couldn't possibly be sending them in there to put them to the death. Even, you know, stripped off and head shaved, they still couldn't believe that that's what was actually going to happen. And this is where people are now with the fear.
It's
the
like
government couldn't possibly want the world to be poisoned, and you know. It's
like what you said about the star, though. Those the badges, the exempt badges, they're the exact same. I got into an argument with a bus driver because I got on the bus without a mask. You know, I've not worn a mask the entire time. Got on the bus without a mask. Said, you know, I'm exempt. So you got a card? I was like, yeah, I've got my card in my bag, don't worry. So I went and sat at the back. You know, when I got to my stop, he was like, you've got to wear your mask the entire time because some bus drivers won't know that you're exempt. I was like, I told you I'm exempt. It's not like I've walked on and there's a million other purple-haired, tattooed, you know, weirdos on here. It's just me. I was the only person on the bus. And he tried giving me an argument about it. I said, what are we in? Are we in Nazi Germany where everyone's got to walk around with the big star so you know who they are and you know what background they come from? Because at the end of the day, it's no one else's business but my own if I'm disabled. You know, it's not like people can't see I'm disabled when I've got my knee brace on, because I can. Fair dues, you can't see the internal damage that I've got, but you know, I should be forced to wear something to identify me as a disabled or an exempt person. It's disability discrimination.
Yeah, and I think somebody was successful in suing somebody for about $7,000 for discriminating against them not wearing a mask. They wouldn't serve them or something, so they did. There has already been a successful court case.
Just Nadia saying that we're amazing. She watches quietly a lot.
I have to get really close, sorry, to read it. On my phone. I ain't got a laptop. Well, I have, but it's so old. But yeah, it's scary, but at the same time, you've just got to keep your energy high and look at all the opportunities that are coming with this shift, because the energetic shift as well in the universe. The universe is doing weird and wonderful things all the time, and the energies come from there. I was watching Bruce Lipton earlier, and he described it as when he first realized that there's in the esoteric stuff that the scientists don't really like to look at, and he figured out that our skin is like sensory. We feel things. The messages, it's like picking up like a radio station, and these are the antennas, and we've got our 5 senses. And what it does is gives the spirit a human experience. The spirit can't taste chocolate, but the human can, because those senses then go into the brain and it converts it into an experience. So in order for our higher selves to have a human experience, and that's how he described it, about when we die, the waves are still there, the reception is still there, we just can't pick it up because the body's died, until the next person is born with the same print, same antennae, same whatever signal code, and then you're born again. And I just thought that was a really nice way of describing it.
Timmy's asked if you believe in energy. I already know the answer to this, but Timmy's asking if you believe in energy.
Absolutely, that's what we are. And this is why you've got to stay positive, because you've got to look at the opportunities and the blessings and everything, because it's like when we feed ourselves good energy, when we create good energy, when we give out good energy, it makes the world a better place. It makes us a better person. If you're filled with worry and fear, you're creating decay within yourself. When you focus on illness, you will become ill, because you make yourself ill with worry and fear, and that has an effect on the immune system, which is why there's this psychological assault on us to all be living in fear. So the first thing is to learn to be fearless, believe in yourself, believe in the energy that you create in your human experience, and so if your spirits come down into this human, how did Bob Marley put it? my new book. It's a vehicle for the soul, isn't it? So you're in charge of driving that vehicle through that experience, and who wouldn't want to have the best experiences that they could, rather than living in fear and misery? If there's something that you don't like, don't do it again. You have that choice. That's what you're born with, free will. And this, they make us believe that we have no freedom because we've got to follow all these rules. Well, they've taken away people's ability to think, and therefore lost common sense, because I might not be the brightest person, but I've got bags of common sense. Do you know what I mean? So I get by, and I think that's more valuable to me than any degree I could have got sitting in a university. I hated the idea. I've never been to university because I couldn't. My soul, my spirit, were like, no, you don't need to be in that environment, girl. Just get on with it. Just do it the hard way. Just work your way through it and make the mistakes and put them right along the way. That's what it's all about. But yeah, we have to look at this as an opportunity, definitely.
I've got 2 comments I want to read out. First one's from Sarah Downward. I've known Sarah for a while now, and she comes from the same cause as I do. And she's put, I've been discriminated against for having mental health and learning disability, and lost my daughters to forced adoption. Isn't it against the law and the act to discriminate against someone who thought everyone has a right to do something and have a right to be a parent, even if someone does have mental health or learning difficulties? And that, for me, that's, we have a right. If anything, we should be helped to get to, to be better, to better ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what we need to fight for. But did you see the comments? There was a news article, I think I shared it on my Facebook. The woman that's taken over the social services, children's services, she's saying that it needs an overhaul, and families and communities need to be given more help rather than feeling persecuted. So it's like, if she's true to what she's saying, then we need to campaign this woman. We need to lobby this woman to give her, anybody out there that's experienced social services, she's the person that you need to start emailing. Because do you know what, when the Kennedy Jr., the one that's looking at all the vaccines, is it John Kennedy? He's looking at all the vaccine stuff, right? And he wasn't really interested in all that, didn't know anything about it, but so many people wrote to him about autism and the effects of the vaccine had on their children. He was inundated, and he said he read every one of them, and that's what made him look at vaccines and the links with autism and all of that, and that's why I campaigned about safe vaccines, not anti-vax, but safe vaccines. Hello, how are you?
How's everyone doing?
Long time
Oh,
no see.
man, I've not long got up. Late night last night, but yeah, nice to see you, Sharon. How are you?
I'm good. I've only got 10 more minutes though, because I've promised my daughter to take her she's going off for a dog walk, so I'm dropping them off.
Right.
So I mean, if you're still on when I get back, I'll join back in if that's all right. But it's just to give you a heads up. But how are you doing? Are you all right? Apart from being a bit.
Good. Yeah, I'm good. Good. Just busy doing everything what we always do, of course. But
with the life we live.
Yeah, it is.
So what have you been doing, Zach? I think last time I saw you was when I was still organising demos, which was quite a while ago.
It was. The last time I'd been on a live with you is when you were stepping out. You literally having a break because of all the crap that you was getting. That was your last show, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But where did I see you last? It was down. I'm sure it was down in London somewhere. It would have been down in London.
Was it not Nottingham? Because we were both in Nottingham, weren't you?
Were we?
Yeah, Did I see
I was in
you?
Nottingham.
In Nottingham because I saw you both.
I don't think I've seen Sharon in Nottingham.
No.
No.
I'm sure
We
Sharon
didn't
got
stay long, yeah, we didn't stay long. I said my bit and then we had to go, so I didn't really see that many people. And we were getting all split up in that, weren't we?
Yeah, because I was with the front group. Jack got beaten up with a fucking copper's baton. Had all his legs smashed in. Fucking hell.
Bloody hell.
Kerry Lee Barbers asked, Sharon, could you send her the details of a lady about social services? And then she says, have a good day all.
I will. I'll have a look on my wall, and I'll send it to you, and then you can put it up. It was just an article on, like Google comes up with news articles and stuff. So I had a look, and she was saying the right things anyway. So and there was another woman as well. I can't remember her name, but I know she'd been given a position in Parliament to do with children's services. So I was going to get details of her as well. We need to look at these people these new people that are getting these jobs and start giving them a bit of the truth.
Exactly.
This is what's been going on.
Yeah. Oh, we were talking about frustration levels with everyone before you joined, Zach, as well.
Oh, massive. People are starting to lose the plot. People are starting to lose the plot. I'm noticing it now.
Everyone's getting at each other's throats because, I mean, it's like I was saying with Sharon before, it's like chickens, that are all cooped up together. Eventually, they start taking it out on each other.
Yeah, it is. The toll is starting to show now all over the place. I'm noticing it. A lot of people are having problems. We're not meant to live like this. We're not meant to be forced to live the way we're living. Yeah, I mean, I was in co-op the other day. I got challenged for not wearing a mask, so I put the guy right on that. But then this old lady walks in. They've got a one-way walking system. She walks in. She walks the wrong way. Goes to the back of the queue. She's an old girl. Goes to the back of the queue. The woman at the till then starts moaning, getting the security saying she's walked the wrong way. And the old lady's going, well, I'm here now, so what's the problem? The security guy wanted to walk her out of the queue, walk around the one-way system, back around the shop to the end of the queue. I went, what the fuck is wrong with you? Leave her alone. If I wasn't there, she probably would have been forced to do that. It's only because I intervened, and then the woman behind the till's going, no, she's breaking the law. I went, she isn't breaking no fucking law. I was about to lose my shit with them all.
So many people are just interpreting this all wrong out there. They're like, no wonder Hitler got away with killing so many innocent people. When there's people, you can see now, I'm living in times where you can see how he got the public to do his bidding. When there's people 100%. Like that,
I was thinking about this the other day, right? Because obviously I'm an atheist, and obviously I'm speaking to a lot of Yanks. Yanks are highly, they're really religious. But we always come to the same conclusion, whether it's my atheist point or their religious point, it brings us to the same ideas. And I was thinking about it. I was thinking, I've always thought to myself, as an atheist, I'd always be the same. My morals are just in me. They're not. They come from this Christian country. I'm sorry, but I've learned to realise that now. If I was born in Korea and brought up Korean, I'd be eating fucking dogs. And I'd think that's normal. I'd be thinking it's normal to eat a dog because that's how I would be formed moralistically. So it does come from your environment, from out there. And yeah, you're exactly right. That's how easy it was for Hitler to create what he created. People will just slip into that because we're seeing it. We're seeing it right now around us.
Gillian of the family at Allen has asked, can I ask what folk think the remedy is? I think the remedy starts at home. Me personally, I think the remedy for all this starts with every individual. Because
the remedy starts within, yeah.
As soon as you start saying no, as soon as you start doing your own research, as soon as you start knowing what the law is, what you can and cannot do, you know, which go off your morals and that, it all starts with you. So if you see someone being beaten up in a street, if your first instinct is to go over and record, even though there's loads of other people that are stood there recording, then there's something wrong. Yeah. Me personally, if I see someone getting beaten up and there's people already recording, then someone needs to step in and stop it. You know, like, yes, things need to be recorded. Yeah, 100% get that. But not everyone needs to be recording. As long as it's being recorded, people should be stepping in and stopping it. It's like you with the lady in, is it Co-op?
There should be a fire inside everybody that makes them step in. There's something inside you that burns that you can't help but step in.
People have been so propagandized and living in so much fear though now that they don't want to step out of that box they've been put into, they've allowed themselves to be put into. It's like battery ends we were saying about chickens. Like if you're free range chickens, you're going to be healthier, happier, and you know, produce better eggs. But when you're a battery chicken, you don't know you're born to that life, and you're just in that box, and you just, that's what your life is, and you don't know any different, and it's too scary. Well, I don't know what a chicken thinks, but you know,
it thinks it wants to get on my plate.
Yeah, but you want one that's lived a happy life and been killed humanely, don't you? Because you don't want one that's been stuck in a bloody.
Well, I'll only eat butter that's come from grass-fed cows. Kerrygold, that's all I eat. It's better butter. You know, it's fucking. If you have them where they've been fed shit, you're gonna be eating shit.
Well, this is the thing. If say for example you've got a farm, right? Cows, sheep, well, whatever you've got on it. If you go around and just kill all of them and just wipe all of them out for food, then you know as soon as all that's gone and you've eaten it all, you're knackered.
Yeah.
But, you know, you nurture them, you look after them, you raise them, and then when it's time, you know, then you take the one that it's time for, you know, and you keep looking after them and you keep nurturing them, you give them the respect that, you know, they deserve as animals.
I'd end up naming the fuckers and I'd find it too hard to fucking do it, I would.
Bill Gates' next agenda, right, is to get rid of all livestock farming and just, he's got a shed, like a stock full of seeds. He owns most farmland in America than anybody else. And he's behind all the GMO food and Monsanto, Bayer, and he's like everything in Starbucks. They've funded Starbucks. Everything in Starbucks is GMO. He wants to produce all this GMO food and get rid of livestock farming. This is why they push in the vegan stuff all the time. This is the step. I've nothing against veganism, right? If you don't want to eat animals, you know, that's fine. But
it's your choice.
I would rather eat an animal that I know had a happy life, been reared for that purpose, but had a humane death at the end of it, but was happy through that life and served its purpose, right? Because it should be a choice. But what Bill Gates' agenda is, he's got all these seeds, he's got all these farmlands, he's got all these companies producing fake meat that they make it look like it's actually. Why would you want fake meat that looks like it's bleeding if it's better than eating normal meat, like proper meat?
I never got that. If they didn't like eating meat because of like the blood and the guts and you know whatever else, why fake it?
It would actually be, if everyone was to turn vegan, it would be more harmful to the planet. We'd have to wipe out fucking how many fucking rainforests to grow enough food. We'd literally have to destroy the planet to grow enough food for us all to eat.
Yeah,
I'm
going to leave you on that note.
It's the same with the COVID side of things and the vaccine. It's pro-choice, and you don't hear people saying pro-choice. You know, they don't hear people saying, well, you have the choice to do it. It's a case of if you don't, then you're wrong. If you do, then, you know.
You should be free to do what you want. That's what we fight for. That's what our fucking forefathers fought for, to have a free fucking society. You off, Sharon?
I'm going. I'm not being rude trying to interrupt you. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I'm going to go. And if you're still on when I come back, then I'll catch you in a bit. And you're looking well anyway. I hope Claire's good as well. Give her my love.
She's the granddaughter.
Is she there? Is she?
Bye-bye.
Oh, she's jumped off. I was going to say she's welcome to come back on anytime.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We live in a free society. Our forefathers fought for a fucking free society, so we're all free to do what we want to do, practice what we want to practice, and that's it. And
well, as long as we're not hurting anyone, as long as we're not harming people.
There's already laws in place to stop that. There is laws. You can't incite hate. You can't incite people to commit fucking acts of violence. There are laws that deal with that. So that's why Priti Patel is saying that she's going to get rid of Tony Blair's hate speech laws. That needs to happen. It needs to happen because we're all free to say what we want to say and then criticise that idea. So if someone comes out with an idea that's wrong, like Islam, I should be free to criticise it and not get in trouble for doing that, not be criminalised for doing it.
I mean, like, when I grew up, I mean, I'm a natural redhead. You know, I'm a natural ginger. I mean, if you could see my freckles, you'd automatically understand that I'm a fucking ginger, even though I've got purple hair. And I got bullied my entire life for being ginger. You know what I mean? Like, imagine if that hate speech was out there. Nah, you called me ginger, you're going to get fined. I mean, it in a sense, it's pathetic. I get it in some regards, like attacking people because of where they come from or their colour. That's wrong. That should never happen. No one should be attacked for no reason.
But there are already laws that deal with that. There are laws. There's laws that deal with that. You don't need the specific hate speech laws, which is what we've got, which stop us from being able to talk. It stops us. It shuts a debate down.
Yeah.
You know, as violent as some people are, let them fucking speak. Let them spout their vile shit. But then you've got the right then to criticise it and make them look like fucking idiots. That's how you win. That's how you beat them.
I mean, so when you don't know, like when you're talking about different groups or organisations, you don't know what that group or that organisation is about until you either do research into it or you talk to a couple of people who, you know, are from not just that one but different ones as well. And if people want to go off to those groups, then even if I think it's wrong, even if I think they're going down the wrong way, it's not my life. It's not my decision to make. I can't make that decision.
Just the other day, I've jumped into groups where I see shit, especially if I see the FNAT spouting their bollocks. I jump in there and I have a little debate with them because I like to fucking literally just destroy their argument and then fuck off. I get bored with them and then I do one, but every now and then I just like to do it. It's just a fun thing to do.
I've got a habit with a couple of streams that say like children don't get for no reason because obviously it applies to me. I just pop in, go in. Have you done your research into it? Have you looked up the term forced adoption? And then fuck off because it's a case of like if they don't want to learn, it's not my job to force them, you know, to educate them. They've got to do it themselves.
Well, Sharon was the one that certainly fucking educated me on that.
Stephen's just put in the comment, Kate, imagine the forces being like that. They'd all be screwed with their language. You're actually there as well, aren't you? Of
course they would, but they are bringing it in. They are bringing it into the forces. And look at it, America's now fucking going down that path. It's like, what the fuck?
You're ex-forces, aren't you?
I was in the Territorial Army, yeah.
I did my training with the RAF on PRB in Germany. And I grew up with the army. My dad's a serving soldier. He's just transferred to the Australian
you
army
lived on the barracks and stuff, didn't you, in Germany?
Yeah, and it's just like I was saying to because I had my friend on Courtney the other day who also grew up with me over in Germany. She's now in Scotland and everything. So we're the same age. We grew up together for fucking years, and we were saying like when we went into school, we were in school with Fijians, with Gurkhas, with fucking everyone that you can think of. Yeah. We never had any racial problems in school. No one was ever bullied because of where they came from or for their accent or anything like that. No one cared.
So like, one of the corporals that tried me, Corporal Tabaka, and he's a fucking huge Fijian. He was a giant. And some people in this country that have gone down a certain path would want to see him sent back to Fiji, not let him live. He's fought for this fucking country. He has put his life on the line for this country.
For me, anyone who serves in the military, any of the armed forces, for me, they're British. Yeah. Don't care where they originated from. I don't care where they were born. They are British because they fought for Britain.
Of course they are. Yeah, I agree. Exactly, I agree. Like I say, he was a fucking unit, he was, but he was such a lovely bloke.
Stephen's just put in PRB was my home for years. I mean, have you ever been to PRB?
Where is PRB?
In Gütersloh in Germany.
I've never left this country.
Haven't you? Right. Well, there's in PRB.
I am a little Englander.
Well, PRB is like a mixed camp. It's got like 2 army headquarters in it, but the rest are all army. And they've got the air traffic control tower. I keep calling it ATC tower instead, but yeah, the air traffic control tower. And that's where I did my training, right by the airstrip.
Fucking hell.
Look, it's a lovely country though, Germany. It is absolutely fucking amazing.
There's no real countries that appeal to me, really. I'd like, if I was to go anywhere, it'd be like to Alaska, out in the wilds. That's it. I don't really like cities and shit like that.
So I like Germany. I didn't think I'd like Germany as much as I did, but in Germany, it's as if you can tell that it's a country that's learned from hate. Because you walk down the street and it can be completely random strangers, but everyone's going to say hello to you, a good day to you as you're walking down the street. Because that's just a normal thing to do. You know, if you see rubbish lying around, people just pick it up and throw it in the bin because they were proud of their country. They were proud that they come through such hate and managed to kind of bring themselves back. Yeah.
Yeah. But then if I go to places like the Northeast, that's what I see. People are friendly. People. The Northeast, I love it. It's where my family's from. But every time up there, you walk down the road, every fucker's saying hello to you. When I say the Northeast, I don't mean the big city like Newcastle. I've never been in Newcastle, but like places like County Durham, Billingham, places like that. You walk around the streets, every fucker says hello. Here in Birmingham, people are fucking looking at the floor. They don't want to make eye contact because it could end up in the wrong fucking situation.
It's like that all over the country though. When I first started demoing, I did a year just researching, just watching what other people were doing, you know, at home. Then I spent a year going to demos, but standing back and watching how people, you know, were reacting. And every single time people were walking past, they were heads in the phone, looking down. So I thought, look, if everyone's going to look at the floor, I'm going to stick all my posters to the floor. So that's what I did. I just stuck all my posters to the floor and people started stopping and reading them because they were in the right line.
That's a fucking good idea.
Hell's Bells says, "Oh, what about the Northwest? You loved it."
Yeah, I did love the North. Oh, the Northwest was brilliant. The fucking MEP campaign, best time ever that was. Yeah,
that was the first proper time I actually spoke to you all. Was the MEP campaign in Salford that you did? I'd met you all at Panel Drama, but only briefly with my with my sign that's up there.
Yeah.
The proper time I got to speak to you was that when you were doing the MEP campaign at Salford, and I was bricking it. I was just stood there with my leaflets, like he's not going to talk to me, and he walked straight up to me.
Hell's was there at virtually every single one we've done. She was there. She was a diamond. Her and her daughter helping out all the time.
Yeah, they said they're going to ring you after the stream as well, so you've got a heads up. Yeah,
no problem. Let me Holly, does the coffee, please? Yeah, coffee. I need to wake me up, man.
It's all right.
Sorry.
One of my admins put in one of the chats, people don't think there's a choice because the government speaks to the people in legalese and most people don't understand what they mean and take it literally. I've seen that happen. It's like when the police ask you if you understand. If you say yes, you've actually agreed to stand under their authority.
Yeah.
It's the same with your name, your date of birth, your address, and saying you understand. All of them four are all forms of consent. You give any of them, you've just consented. Your name, for example, is unique to you. That's your name. You own that name. No one else is called what you're called. So that is the most strongest form of property that you're ever going to get.
Yeah.
OB says Zach looks like an extra from the TV series The Vikings.
Do you know what? I actually did. I was going to apply to be an extra on that fucking program. Me and my pal Danny. Going back to when it first started, they were advertising for extras, and we were going to go on it. But you had to live it. You had to be living in Ireland. They're only taking people from the local area at the time. So
that would have been awesome as well. That.
Okay, now madness.
It's like with everything that's been going on. Like we were talking earlier about the frustration of everything. I think it's got to boiling point now with a lot of people.
100% it has, and you've seen it throughout all the European countries. People are rising up, people are fighting. We just haven't got there yet. I don't know why. I'm really surprised that we haven't.
Well, we have the second opportunity to. France started with the yellow vest, then we started with the yellow vest.
Mm.
But we let
no sugar in that, man. Fucking hell, poisoning me. Oh man, sorry.
Your face then though when you took a swig of that.
Oh mate, it's just poisoned me. But yeah, I really am shocked that we haven't reached that point yet. Obviously, whenever it happens, if it's going to happen, there can't be a leader because that leader's going to get fucked. There can't be any organisers, so it's got to sort of organically just magic out of somewhere. So I'm just hoping there's people writing little things on certain places and people are seeing it and thinking, yeah, that looks right, and eventually it will happen because I think it needs to happen.
Yeah, I think we've because we had the second chance to start. Yeah, we were second runner up to starting all this rioting. You know, it started with the French yellow vest, then the UK yellow vest, and instead the UK seems to have thought, nah, I'd rather just bicker amongst ourselves than actually do anything.
Yeah,
and it's sad to see.
The people need to come together as one big unit because once they see that we outnumber them, they're fucked. They can't do anything.
I've got a feeling that a lot of, because obviously we've seen people from every side disappear to one Pacific side. I'm not going to give them the airtime because I've got no interest in doing that. But we've seen a lot of people from loads of different groups going over to a Pacific side. I'm going to say side because theirs is a side.
Never win.
And for me, I'm thinking, is that because the centre lot aren't stepping up and doing stuff? Because a lot of people are so frustrated that no one's doing anything that they're going to look towards anyone who looks like they are doing something. I mean, I've had people try and persuade me to go over to that particular side.
But even that particular side aren't actually doing anything. That particular side aren't actually doing anything, and they never fucking will do anything. They're fucking idiots, to be honest.
Doing the right view today. I've already set it up.
Sorry?
Yeah.
What's that?
Julie was asking if you're doing the right view today.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be 9 o'clock tonight, so the Yanks will all be up and fucking ready to come on.
Yeah, I've already set it up and ready for you as well.
Wicked. I think I've shared it now on Facebook.
I'll share it round. Once we've got a favour, I'll share it round as well and make sure it's out.
Yeah, well, Jack will be up soon. He'll start sharing it and we'll get it out there.
Steve says, hope you're well and hello as well.
Where's that? Yeah. Who? Sorry.
We're on different platforms. We're on VK. We're on 2 different Facebooks, 2 different YouTubes.
Right, I'm not seeing it, yeah.
Wake Up UK. So I'm flicking through the other ones. So any of the ones I tell you and don't put on the screen, they're on the other channels.
Right, sound.
It's just the bad part about fucking, because StreamYards will only let me stream to 3 places. So I do YouTube's Facebook and YouTube's Facebook, Children Matters YouTube and Children Matters Facebook, and then I do the restream. So the restream goes out to the emergency channel, personal Facebook, VK, and Wake Up UK as well.
Okay, now.
Yeah. For some reason, DLive's not working. Otherwise, we would be on DLive as well.
I just see that comment there. Is it Fred Keener sings again? It says the vote for TR on the MEP was rigged. He still scored more votes than all independent candidates put together. He still scored more votes than all of them put together. And the reason we did, if we had social media, we would have won that vote. We would have won it. No problem. It's because we had everything removed. Even the Royal Mail didn't deliver our leaflets, which is what they'll put them in the bin. The union stepped in and says you're not allowed to deliver them. I've
still got loads of them here. Because I was going out and handing loads of them here. I still had a stack left after I was done. I've still got it in my other room.
I've fucking got a load as well in my kitchen. In one of the drawers.
Nikki said, too many people here are up their asses saying they're helping when all they want is attention. I mean, you're going to get that everywhere. You're going to get someone everywhere that is just in it for attention. The thing that you have to do with that is fight through it and keep doing your research, because for every one person that's out there just for attention, just for donations, whatever, out there for their own reasons, there's going to be 2 or 3 that are out there for genuine reasons. And a lot of these people know that these certain groups, these certain people are going about it the wrong way. So they'll hover around to be there to turn around and say, look, these aren't the right places. These are the right places. Why don't you have a look at these places instead? And try and help each other that way so people aren't being taken for a fool by the wrong people.
every single person can do something. If you just wake up one other person, you've just doubled. If every single person wakes up one other person, you've just doubled our numbers. You've just doubled the amount of people that think the way that we think. The majority of people out there think the way we think, but they still watch mainstream media. They don't see the alternative media that we see, and they're not switched on to everything. And like you said earlier, it starts with the person, the individual. You've got to fucking do it. You can't expect somebody out there to do everything for you, because it don't work like that. You have got to do it.
Well, Elizabeth's put in the chat, I'll put it up on screen. How can the average Joe help with all this? And it's like we were talking about earlier, wasn't it? Where it starts at home. If you're going to big supermarkets instead of local shops, then that's not going to help as much.
Yeah.
If you go to local shops more than big chains, that's going to help local businesses stay alive and keep that money out of corporations' pockets. Obviously, you're going to have to go to supermarkets every now and again, but it's like you're starting at home. If someone asks you for a face mask, instead of wearing your exempt card around your neck, I'm exempt. I've got my card with me, but you don't need to see it. If I need to show it, then I will show it. But for now, I don't need to. Sort of thing. It all starts with you. You need to get the confidence in yourself to be able to turn around and go, no, I don't want to do this. No, that's not right. This isn't right. I don't need to damage my health because the government want me to, sort of thing.
I don't carry a card. I just tell them no.
I keep it in my bag. And as soon as they ask me for my mask, I just go exempt and carry on walking. I don't even stop.
Yeah. And there's nothing they can do.
Paul just said Anne-Marie Waters has spoken a lot about forced child adoption cases. I was one who actually put the forced adoption question towards Anne-Marie. I do it to a lot of people. I ask people what they know about forced adoption and about this and that, because that's one of the most hidden causes that you're going to find is forced adoption, because it's so active, especially now.
Well, I imagine they'll be using this to aid that right now. They'll be using people's mental health breaking down to.
It's worse than that. When I think within 3 months, 2-3 months of the lockdown actually starting, there was a NHS nurse that did a live where the police had come round to her house because her kid's dad had said that because she was a key worker and working in the hospitals during the pandemic, she was therefore a risk to the children and putting the children at risk. And they're using that to take kids from the primary carers. The fact that they're key workers, because there's no way, if you're a key worker and you're admitting that there's a pandemic or whatever, there's no way for you to get out of that. Well, I'm not putting my kids at risk, because according to the state you are, and abusers have been using that. Abusers have been using the fact that their victims, their survivors, are still doing key work, are still working, and using that to get the kids taken off them. Yeah,
that's just fucked. Absolutely fucked. Someone said that there is too much division out there. Yeah, is that Stephen? It's just got up the top of the screen.
I'll put it on the screen for you. I was literally just about to click on that. I was literally just about to point that one out as well, and you got to it before me.
There is too much division, and we do need to unite, but unite with the right people, because there's certain people out there whose minds are so warped and they've got this fucking weird way of thinking. I could never unite with them. Never.
Well, this is the thing, like, if you need to, it's not uniting for a greater purpose, it's uniting for a common purpose. For me, it's the kids. For me, the kids are the ultimate, unique thing that's going to bring everyone together. I don't even think country can bring people together as much as kids can. Because at the end of the day, our kids may not look like, how... I don't know.
The kids are the future. At the end of the day, the kids are the future.
Exactly. Paul's just put a message in about a whole chapter on forced adoption in their manifesto. Paul, will you see if I'd be able to get in touch with them about that? Because it'd be good to talk to them about it.
What's that, sorry?
It was Paul put in about For Britain on, it's on one of the Facebook ones, saying For Britain has a whole chapter on forced adoption in their manifesto. It'd be good to have a chat with them about that.
Yeah.
For me, anyone who looks into that, they deserve a bit of, they deserve a conversation at least. It's just bad. I know you're reading that one, so I'm going to leave that one to you.
I'm just reading, you know which one.
Steve Patriot over on VK said, tell Zach the Shadow Man says hi.
How you doing, pal? Hope you're well.
One on the emergency channel as well. Put the spotlight on.
I was just stuck on that Simon Chapman's comment. And yeah, Simon, look, we have seen a lot with this Black Lives Matter bollocks, but you can't tar everyone with the same brush. Not everyone is like that. You know, I know black lads that are totally against that, and they speak out about it all the fucking time. So you can't hate on a certain people just because of what you've seen. You've got to fucking, you know, look at the bigger picture.
I grew up with everyone. My uncle was one of my favourite uncles as well. He used to pick me up from school all the time because I was getting bullied at school. So he used to come and pick me up. And I've got a picture. I've only got one picture of him where he was stood behind my mate from school. And all you can see is a white floating top and a smile. Because he was stood in the hallway and it wasn't lit. And it was only the living room that was lit. You couldn't see him. That's how dark-skinned he was. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he was my favourite uncle. He'd come pick me up. He'd drop me off at school. He'd pick me up from school. If I wanted to go out to the shop or I wanted to go precinct and didn't want to go on my own, he'd come and take me, he'd take me with him and, just do his own bits while I did my bits, so please my mum sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't see it. I mean, I'm Irish. My son's German. My daughter's Maltese.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we're all British. We're all people.
My brother's mixed race. And growing up, we did see racism, but now I don't see racism out there. No, not now. It's fucking gone.
You just see tension. Just see tension and frustration from everyone at the minute.
Yeah. God.
I will message you.
Yeah, that's a good. What somebody is it? Gaza, GZA, Gaza.
OB.
A lot of the ones ripping down the statues, white liberal Antifa types. Yes, they were. They're the fucking worst. They are the worst. They are the ones that are creating the problem. These white liberal Antifa types. They are the ones creating it. They're driving a whole fucking narrative, which is forcing people to think certain things.
One of my admins just put in the emergency channel. Reports to social services have risen during the lockdown. I'm going to send it to me in the group in a bit. So they've been using the cover of COVID to get more funding by laying off agency workers. Yeah.
And you just see that was going to happen.
Yeah, you can do. Like, it's horrible to see the amount of people that don't understand what's going on. It's like everyone from every single cause should be getting affected by this now. I mean, forced adoption has been getting affected by it. Homelessness has been getting affected by it. If every cause isn't suffering now, then they need to open their eyes and actually look at the surroundings, because guaranteed they are.
Yeah. Oh, said the best. Yeah, Simon, you're right there, mate. You are right. You eliminate the problem without a limit. Right then, so how can you eliminate a problem without eliminating them all? A certain way. This is one of the arguments that I have to do with Islam. Anyway, what I would do is I'd close down all the small mosques straight away. I'd ban foreign investment. I'd ban foreign imams. I'd ban the burqa. I'd literally ban halal food in this country. Just make it hard for them using legal methods. And you've only got to look up when France banned the burqa, right? So when France banned the burqa, the Wahhabi Muslims, they fucked off from France using freedom of movement, EU. They've all come here to Birmingham. They all live in fucking Birmingham. And that was all down to banning the burqa in public. What's that, then?
I think if every country abided by their own laws and didn't let any other laws exist within their country, then that would solve a lot of the problems as well. Like, we shouldn't have common law and then every other type of law from every other type of country existent in this country, because a lot of one country's law is against the original country's law. Yeah,
it should be just the law of the land, and that's it. That is it.
I mean, when I went to Germany, I respected their laws. I respected their culture. You don't have to throw yourself into it, but they welcome you into it if you want to join into it. Yeah. But I mean, me personally, I wouldn't go to another country and start throwing up churches. I wouldn't go to another country and start demanding it's an eye for an eye or a tooth for a tooth or, whatever.
You can't just rock up somewhere and say, you change to what I want. It's you have to change to what they are. That is it. That's just the way it should be. And obviously, it doesn't work like that over here, and we've allowed it to happen, and that needs to change. But there are legal ways of doing it. You can't just go down this force. Let's just force everyone out. Let's fuck them all off and all that. You just can't. You can't do that. It's never going to happen.
I mean, I think a lot of British people wouldn't even give too much of a crap about the burqa. You know
No.
what I mean? I don't think a lot of most British people wouldn't really give too much of a crap about it. You know, they might be a bit iffy on certain situations like police stations and courts and shit like that. But most of us are welcoming when it comes to different countries, when it comes to different religions, when it comes to different people's interpretation of things. I think
the reason we're seeing the burqa's like a modern phenomenon, if you like. It's the rise in the people wearing it now, and it's mainly your second, third generation Muslims that they're romanticizing over the Ottoman Empire. That they seriously are. They think that this whole empire is going to rise again, and they think that's a liberal thing to wear it. You know what I mean? To show that this is what we're for. Fuck off! It's controlling, and they just don't see that. I think their parents would. I bet the parents and their grandparents are actually against what they're doing because they come over here to try and seek a new life. They're taking them back to that life that they fucking fled from.
I mean, this is the thing. I call her my mama. She's my grandma, but I've always called her my mama. She died when I was about 6 or 7, but she run 2 jobs while she was a full-time parent of 3 kids, and she had a alcoholic gambler for a husband as well. He used to beat the shit out of him. But she'd go around, and after she finished working at the colleges and whatnot, she'd go around and she'd teach the Muslim and the Indian girls, English, maths, that sort of thing, and help them. And I went with her a lot of the time. And there was this one family, this Indian family, and they actually made me this full-on purple outfit with the pants, the long top, the scarf, and everything. And they welcomed us all into their family. But you see less and less of that now. You see less and less of people wanting to open themselves up, and less of people wanting to be welcomed into, just people's family. Doesn't have to necessarily be your community, but I mean, I'll always, that memory of that family particularly, I'll always carry that to my grave. And I was only about 5, 6 years old when from what I remember. Yeah. And that's what it used to be like. People used to try and help where they were let down.
The whole of society has changed now. The whole of society, most people don't even know their neighbours anymore. And that's the sad fact of it. They just don't know their fucking neighbours. We don't mix, we don't speak to each other. That Gaz has just said it there. He's banged on the money there with that. Ban the burqa, no allow me, no foreign investment. Yeah, that's exactly what you got to do, because it's the foreign investment in the mosques and the foreign imams that are coming over that have taught these youngsters, this generation, to be hardline, to actually become what they're becoming, and that's the problem. All that needs stopping, and it will work because like I say, we've seen the example already happen in France. When France banned the burqa in public, the Wahhabis who wear the burqa fucking moved away from France, and majority of them come to Birmingham, to the fucking shitholes where the most terrorists are fucking raised in this country. So it will work.
I think we just have to be persistent with it. At the end of the day, we've got respect for people.
And then the Muslims that don't adhere to the strictness and don't follow it, the ones that are decent, normal people that just get on with fucking everyday life, they won't fuck off because they'll just agree and just live a normal fucking life like we do.
To be fair,
the hardliners will fuck off.
The thing, this is what I mean. Like the people that have been here for the last decade, this last generation, like I reckon they'd be appreciative to get, English common law back reinstated, because it'd help them out as well massively. But everyone who's like recently come over, who's still got the mindset of what's been happening in their original countries or whatever, that's where you see in the negative side of it.
But it's also like I say, when I say second, third generation, they're actually fucking born here, but they're twisted, and because of what's going on in the mosques, it's twisted them, and they really romanticize about this Ottoman Empire springing up again and fucking
But that's the thing, though. This is what I don't get. I mean, they've tried that in other countries, and then they've evacuated those countries and left it because it's just turned to ruin. It's now a war zone, like it's uninhabitable. Yet they keep moving to another one and keep doing the same.
What we need to do that. So with all the fucking migrants we've got coming over now, we're constantly getting bombarded with them. But this is a direct fucking problem that the EU caused, because they wouldn't allow us to trade with those countries. So them countries are like shit. You know what I mean? You've got no prospects. If you're born in Africa, you've got no prospects. You're gonna want to fuck off to a Western country and try and make a life. Well, what if we just actually traded with them? What if we give them an economy? What if we allowed them to fucking flourish and be able to live a life there?
Exactly.
Surely that's the best.
It's so much
The
as
EU
well.
were dead against that. But now we're out the EU, perhaps we can fucking start doing that, and then they'll want to stay in their country. But it shouldn't be just down to us. It should be down to all fucking Western countries. Trade with them, let them build an economy. They will want to stay there. It's like fucking, it's common sense, man. It's
It's like with the kids as well, though, isn't it? Like kids all over the country, especially in those countries as well, they're left to fend for themselves, and it's survival of the fittest. I mean, when I was in care, it's similar sort of thing. It's survival of the fittest. You ain't gonna get helped. You've got to do it yourself. It's your life sort of thing. And the only life they know, the only way they've been able to survive is by going with the flow sort of thing. They've never known anything different, which is the heartbreaking thing, because it means they've never understood love and community and friendship, loyalty.
Yeah.
It's a horrible thing to see, because no kid should suffer through that, no matter where they're from.
No, they shouldn't. And, you can't blame people wanting to fucking get a better life when they've got fuck all around them. If your prospects are like zero, you're going to do everything you can to change it. But we need, internationally, as a community, we need to fucking change their countries, because that's the only way we're going to stop it. Otherwise, it's just going to end up worse and worse and worse, and we're going to end up flooded.
Aye. Well, we've just got a couple of comments over on the emergency channel from Dawn and Keith. Dawn said, do they remove children to fund the local authorities' finances? And Keith said social services equals government-sponsored trafficking. I mean, I say state-sponsored kidnap, but it's the same thing. And they are doing it, and it wouldn't surprise me if that's where a lot of the funding's coming from, to keep us as down as they are doing, because they leave neglected kids, they leave unlooked after kids, and they go after the kids that are polite, pretty, clean, healthy, mannered, easy to bond, easy to break down.
They will always take the child that's doing everything. The children that are like a problem child, they leave with the parent. And this is what is so bizarre. They'll leave them with the parent. So the parent must be a decent enough person if they're able to look after that fucking child. But you'll take the newborn, or fucking, you know what I mean, the ones that are behaving and all that. Let's take that child away. But you're still a good enough parent to look after these children that are hard to deal with. It's like, what the fuck?
Come across
surely that should be the basis of a legal argument. Wait a minute, if I'm fit enough to look after this child, I'm fit enough to look after all my children.
Yep. Well, we've got, for example, I can't mention names because I'm actually named on her gagging order. So I can't mention names, but there's a mum, she's got 12 kids. She's in her 50s, but she's got 12 kids. They took the youngest 4. They went for the 5th, but the 5th actually got a bus down to the court himself and demanded to speak to the judge in his chambers. And he managed to go home, but they took the youngest 4. Her oldest ones are all adults with their own kids. She's a teacher, she's an ex-teacher. Her kid's dad is an ex-police officer. So it's not even like the police are free. As soon as the police aren't, officially working there, or they're retired or anything like that, they're fair game as well. If they step out of line, their kids are going to get taken, or something's going to happen. Yeah,
it's fucked. It's completely fucked. And I can't see why, on a legal basis, people can't win. It just seems rigged. It seems like the system's rigged and no one can win against it.
It does. Because they use the risk of future method with me. I had to prove that at no point in any point in history, no matter how old my kids were, that I'd never lay my hands on them, that I'd never shout at them, that I'd always 100% of the time supervise them, which means that I would have had to take my child with me to the bathroom, to go toilet, shower, anything like that, because I'd have to 100% of the time supervise them. So that means I could not let them out of my sight at all. They had to sleep in the same room as me and everything. I couldn't do that. I couldn't say that I'm never going to lay my hands on a child, because my son's been playing on the arm of the sofa and nearly fallen off, and I've had to grab him to stop him from falling off. So I've had to lay hands on him to stop him from hurting himself. If he runs out into a car, and they use this as an example, if he runs out into a car, will you grab him? Of course I will. Well, that's physical assault then. And
well, Holly, the one that's made me a cup of tea, she would have been about, 3, 4? And it's only because I heard the dog crying. I thought, what the fuck's the dog crying for? The front door's open, and we live on a main road. She'd crossed the first dual carriageway and was in the second one. I ran. I tried to jump over a car that was coming, but luckily they stopped and skidded to a stop. I managed to fucking get to her and I belted her ass. I grabbed that and I fucking belted her. Never do that again. It was an instant reaction. She's never done it again.
I mean, as a kid, I mean, my dad's done it to me. Like my dad's done it to me. I've done something that was like dangerous to my life. My dad's cracked me one. Most of the time, it's around the back of the head, like. But my dad's cracked me one, and as a kid, it gives you that. Oh, I'm not going to do that. I'll get in trouble for that.
Right. Claire thought she was dead because I'd run out. I've like obviously instantly shouted Holly, and I've shut the front door behind me because I didn't want the dog to follow me across the road. I just ran across the road, and Claire just expected to come out and find her hit by a fucking car.
So I mean, I'll turn the camera around because I've lived in this house since my kids were here, and literally my next door neighbour is a dual carriageway.
Yeah, that's like literally. My road just here. As soon as you come out the front door, busy as fuck.
It's same here. So I was constantly like petrified with my kids. Like if my son was playing in the front garden, I'd have the gate closed, and if I wasn't at the front door, I was in the kitchen window watching. And I seen like, a couple of years ago, I saw a couple of the kids trying to open the gate to get my son to go out. That was it. Me and my daughter's dad, we legged it straight out the front of there. Liam obviously didn't want to go out anyway because he didn't know them, but he was still stood there contemplating it, and he was only 2.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd only literally walked in to get him his juice that was on the kitchen side and seen that. Since then, if he ever went in to get him a drink, he had to come in with me because I didn't trust the kids on the estate not to let him out because they didn't even understand the repercussions of it.
Yeah, there's kids, aren't they?
But it's one of them with social services. They've got you in a catch-22 because how are you supposed to prove that you're never going to do something that hasn't happened in a situation that may never occur?
Yeah. Yep.
So you're not allowed to shout at your kids because it's emotional abuse. You're not allowed to ground them because it's false imprisonment. Not allowed to take anything off them because it's emotional abuse.
It's just fucked. Absolutely fucked. And then you have these families that are a danger to the kids that the kids don't get taken from, and then bad things happen.
So Elizabeth just put a comment in that's caught my attention. She said, I'll put it up on the screen. They come after people in vulnerable situations like domestic abuse as well, instead of helping them, saying them at risk. Even if they got rid of that man and trying to help. You know what? I've been through that exact same thing. My son's dad is my abuser. He's my worst abuser. He used to offer me up to his mates or to random strangers on nights out or when he was pissed or off his face or anything. And even though I told social everything that happened, my mum had pictures of the state he'd left me in all the times with broken ribs, broken nose, busted up face, and they still gave my son to him. I left him as soon as I found out I was pregnant. I escaped. Because he had me held hostage in Northumberland. I managed to get to my grand's up here in Manchester and then back to Germany to my mum. As soon as I come back to the UK, that was it. They wanted my son with him, saying that I was the one that was at fault because I couldn't protect myself from him before I found out I was pregnant. But yeah, the only reason I stood up for myself is because I was pregnant and I wasn't having my kid grow up like that.
It's fucked. Absolutely fucked. I just don't know how they can do it. It's... What's that fuck? There's a fucking film, isn't there?
3 Identical Strangers is a good one to watch.
What's that? 3 Identical Strangers?
If you've not seen that, you should watch it. It's made by one of the boys. Give you a brief rundown. It's triplets who were put up for adoption at 6 months old. They were given to adoption agencies. The adoption agency found a lower class family, a middle class family, and an upper class family. They made sure that all the families already had a daughter that was all the same age. So all the daughters, I think they were 21 when this would come out, but all the daughters were the same age. And they placed each of the triplets with one of the family members, but they didn't tell the family members that they were one of triplets. They separated them instantly. And
have they done this as some sort of fucking weird social experiment or something?
It is an experiment. They weren't the only ones. It was a twin study that they did. And that study isn't available to be read until 2066, when all of anyone who was involved in it would definitely be dead.
Yeah.
And one of the triplets took his own life with everything that happened. They had social workers going around filming them, giving them tests, basically examining them, testing them, seeing what they're doing. Then they were going on to another sibling's house and doing the exact same thing. The only reason they found each other was because one of them started going to college, and when he got there, everyone kept calling him, I think it was Edda, and kept saying, "I didn't know you were coming back. I didn't realise you were coming back." And he's going mental because he's like, "I've never been here before. Who's this Eddie person? Why is everyone welcoming me back?" And then this Eddie's best friend came in and said to him, "I know you're not Eddie because I know Eddie's not coming back. You need to come and see this." So they ran to a phone box. They phoned him up, and the guy said that the twin said that it was like listening to himself. So they went down and they found him. So that was two of them reunited. Then the third one saw a paperclip of them both together and recognised his own hands, like in the picture. So we connected with him as well, and the three of them ended up united. They've even been in a film with Madonna. And they did.
Let me put it into my phone, because otherwise I'll forget. Three strangers, yeah.
Three identical strangers.
Three identical strangers. Let me just whack that in. So I've got that. I'll watch that.
Honestly, it is worth watching. I think it's still on Netflix as well. But it is worth the watch because it opens the door to not just what they did to them, but what they're still doing. Because they were looking at loads of different things, parenting. They were looking at mental health. They were looking at literally loads of different stuff. And from what I've seen, from the research that I've been doing before I even saw that, to me it looks like they're still doing this experimentation. But they're not just doing it on identical siblings, they're doing it on all siblings. Because if you look now at the amount of siblings that are separated from each other, older siblings to younger siblings, it's astonishing. So me personally, I think they're still experimenting.
It's just fucked, isn't it? Absolutely fucked.
You should definitely give that a watch though, because it is a massive eye opener, and it's a good film. It is actually a good film as well. The way they've put it together is massive.
Yeah, I've got it on my phone now anyway, so I'll watch it.
I've watched it quite a few times. Like they have put it together really, really well. I have put it together a couple of times. Stefan said both his sisters were split.
I've literally just seen that myself, yeah.
I'll put the name in the chat as well for people.
Somebody's saying it's frozen on Facebook.
Never look. I'm on the Facebook one. It says it's all right. We put that up on the screen for people.
Rachel just said they did it to see if it was nature or nurture. Well, that's just fucking. Regardless, it's just fucking about with people's lives.
Yeah, I mean, they said it's about nature versus nurture in it. That they do say that, but they do raise like the triplets. I keep going to say twins. The triplets do raise the question of was it about mental health? And when you do some research into like the people on YouTube or anything after that, you'll come across a couple of the other twins that found each other after this came out and everything. And a lot of the twins who were involved in it went and did research about their mothers, their biological mothers, and a lot of them, if not all of them, suffered with some form of mental health. So there was also the question of, is mental health transferable? Is it genetic? Me as well. For me, it's the other case of, will siblings find each other if they never knew about each other?
Well, I think there's plenty of stories out there where they have done, hasn't there? They gravitate towards each other eventually.
They have to. I mean, I hope they do. I mean, I hope massively that at the very least, my kids find each other.
Yeah.
At the very least, I'm not really too fussed if they even find me, as long as they find each other. As long as they find each other, my job's complete.
Yeah, I believe they will. You see that many stories of that happening.
They'll be a force to be reckoned with if they're anything if they're anything like me, anyway. Why do we need a donut party? I've just seen that pop up on the screen that we need a donut party.
What is a donut party?
I don't know. It was that believing of Liverpool and oranges and sunshine about when they were shipped to America and Australia. I don't know. I didn't know.
Right, give me 2 minutes. I'm just going to run and have a slash because I've been drinking that much fucking coffee.
No worries, I'm going to roll a cig anyway.
Okay, yeah. I'll be 2 minutes.
No worries.
What do I do?
I'll put you in the background and then you don't have to do nothing.
Yeah, cool.
There you go. So I've got the name of the film up on screen. I'll be able to see when Zach comes back, so don't worry. Rachel said they had identical traits, even though they had never met, and they want to show. Well, if you watch the stream, the video, the documentary that they did, they actually said at the end of it that a lot of their traits that they had in common, they didn't actually have in common. It was just they wanted to be like each other, and the mindset automatically sinks in. So they started doing the same stuff. They started smoking the same brand of cigarettes. You know, obviously there were traits that were biological to them as well, but there were differences as well. Oh, me and Julie were sharing donuts at the Manchester demo. Ah, yeah, we definitely need a donut demo then, or a donut party. Let's have it coming through. I'll see if I can help you, Jill, on that, but you'll have to give me some time first to do that. Squeaking through all the screens. Hi, everybody, as well. I know we're on Wake Up UK as well, so hi, everybody on Wake Up UK. It's hard to type on all of them, so I have to keep going through and just dotting about. Awesome. It is worth the watch. 3 Identical Strangers, honestly, it is worth the watch. Oh, I can see a baby. Aya. You're not on screen, don't worry. Oh, she's gorgeous. I'm not putting the screen up, though, because Zach's not in it yet. I want permission first to do that, but she's gorgeous. Yeah, Ken bought loads of donuts, if I remember correctly. Oh, donuts are awesome. Donuts work amazing. Oh, she's so cute. She's on the camera. She's too cute. No one else can see her at the minute, but she is gorgeous. Most people don't even know how to get on YouTube on their smart telly. Oh, I've got it on mine. I don't have TV, so I can only do that. I watched it last night. Mad, it's the first you talk about when I come on. Oh, you know, we're all here for a reason. But yeah, 3 Identical Strangers. I've watched that so many times, and I still watch it because it opens up a massive door and it shows you what the kids are going through. You know what I mean? It shows you like the tricks that people will go to, that social will go to. Yeah, we do need to have the good stories as well. No worries, Stefan. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Oh, I can see her looking over. Aya. Aya. I've not got her on the screen, so I can't hear you. I need a thumbs up or something if I'm allowed to put the screen up or not. She's gorgeous. Hello, beautiful. Aya. Sorry, I love kids. Absolutely love kids. Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I have done it.
How beautiful she is. Oh, she is. She's absolutely stunning. I do absolutely love kids. I do. I love kids so much, especially when they're that small and that cute. It's just. Oh. What's her name? Sorry.
Evelyn.
Evelyn. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. That is beautiful.
Who's that? You're speaking a lot.
Oh, she is gorgeous.
What's that?
Hiya.
Hello. 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 Hiya. Hiya.
Say hi.
Oh, no. Oh, no, she's going to get close again.
Hello.
Oh. Oh, she's
Oh, she's adorable.
Hello. Say hello.
Hiya.
Go on. Hello.
Oh, she's stunning.
Who's that?
Oh, she's gorgeous. How do you get anything done?
I don't normally.
I wouldn't neither for beauty like that.
Say hello. Say hello, Evelyn. Say hiya. Hiya.
I don't blame her. I look kind of scary.
And that's back.
Oh, she is.
She's gonna run back. Oh, she just ran off. What's done to her head?
I don't.
Bless her, she's
Oh,
gorgeous.
that's my granddaughter. That's Evelyn.
Oh, she's absolutely incredible. It's so pretty.
She's wicked.
I love kids, especially when they're that small and adorable.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying that she's beautiful as well in the comments. I've got her over on the other Facebook.
Wicked.
Everyone says, "Oh, she's beautiful."
I
And
bet she's
Sarah-
thinking, what the fuck's going on? The telly's speaking to me.
Well, kids either normally get amazed by me or terrified of me. There's kind of no in between with me and kids.
That's the same with me. That's why I knew as soon as I come here, she's going to run off.
Yeah, my daughter was the fussy one out of the two of mine. Like she wasn't keen on people with beards. If you had a beard, she'd shout at you. But my son, on the other hand, he didn't care.
It's weird, but they're used to seeing the hair come out the top of the head, and all of a sudden it's coming out the fucking face. It's like, what the fuck's going on?
We see so many videos where they get even more upset when you shave it off because then you look completely different.
You look like a baby yourself. If I was to shave this off, I would look like a fucking baby.
Oh no, like honestly, that's fucking amazing. Like I wouldn't get anything done if there was kids around here. Like honestly, I'd be too busy playing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we only have her on the weekends, and George split with the mum, and it is what it is, isn't it? It's life. So come down in the week and on the weekends.
But I mean, at least you get to see her and spend time with her.
Yeah,
Grandparent time's always the best time.
yeah, yeah.
So Rachel's just put in there in the comment for
Yeah.
she's obsessed with your purple hair and taco. I've pissed my tarantula off to the point where she won't come out now. It's really annoying. Like, every time I look up, I'm like, is she coming out? Because she looks. See if I can get the camera there. She looks like she's debating coming out.
How long you had her?
Yeah, a couple of years. Can you see her leg on the rock underneath the slate?
Yeah.
She won't come out of there, and I've been trying to get her to come out of there since I annoyed her. I did a live and put the light on her so that everyone could see her properly because it was late, and now she's gone under there and she's come to the end.
Has she bit you yet?
Not me, no. She bit my ex Zach. But that was his own fault. I mean, she's temperamental as fuck. I got her for my brother a few years ago for Christmas, and because he's joined the RAF, he can't have her anymore. So she's come to live with me, but I won't hold her. She's a temperamental fucker. Like, she's got ginger bits. She's definitely a temperamental fucker.
I didn't. Well, my brother had one, and I didn't even know what it was doing. It went on its. I put my hand in there, and it went on its back. Next thing you know, it's fucking bit me. Fucking thing. It's like a bee sting.
Yeah, like people get worried about it, and it's literally just like a bee sting. I don't know if you can see it, but that box there,
Yeah.
it's got a Goliath bird eater skin in it.
Yeah.
And they're the size of a dinner plate, biggest tarantula can get.
Yeah.
Do you know Luke Uncaged?
Yes.
It's his tarantula. When it shed, he sent me the skin. It got here on Halloween. Absolutely love it.
You can ship people up just with the skins, to put the skin on a fucking table, and when they come in and see it, yeah.
Oh well, I did a bit worse than that. I had my ironing board out right in front of the fireplace. I had to look at it to remember what it was called. And I put the box on it, but I'd positioned the tarantula skin so it looked like it was climbing out, like about to start climbing out of the box. And I had the lid closed a bit so you could just see its legs coming out. It's funny though. Someone asked if she's ever flicked hair at me. She's not flicked hair at me. By the looks of her abdomen, she's not even tried to flick hair while I've had her. She's just, she's never even reared up. She's one of them dickheads where you think everything's fine. Next thing you know, she's on the attack. So I won't even test her anymore. Just leave her to it.
And that's so people saying that they're scared of spiders, and that's a weird thing because that is actually in our DNA to be scared of spiders because it's a survival skill.
But I am. This is what I mean. I'm terrified of spiders. I'm terrified of spiders. Like before I started this stream, I noticed a massive spider web down the side of my sofa right where I sit. So I got my fucking Hoover out, which is why it's behind there, and hoovered the fucker up, went round and hoovered all the fucking ceiling before I even started this live. Oh, yeah, I'm not fussed about, because if she gets out, I know where the fuck she's gone. She's too big to fucking hide. The small ones, no.
Don't bother me at all. Insects.
No, I'm not a big bug. I can't stand bugs. I'm absolutely petrified of bugs. Tarantulas I don't class as bugs because they're hairy and they're big and you can see them. But like her food, when I put her food in there, I have to throw the entire fucking box in and then just leave it until they're all either dead or she's eaten them, because I will not open that door for anyone while the food's in there. Not a chance.
I used to fucking had a grass snake. What lizards were there now? I had a few lizards in there. But called anoles or something like that. Anoles. Just like little basic lizards. And obviously used to feed them crickets. But I had a whole packet of them fucking escape into the house. And every fucking night, the whole house, all you could hear was these crickets.
My daughter's dad, because we had 15 reptiles in this house and we had 5 in his flat. So we had about 20 reptiles altogether. And he got fed up of buying the food. So he decided we were going to start breeding the food. We had, in plastic drawers you can get.
Yeah. We
had a stack of them for breeding mealworms. In the kitchen, we had 3 tanks for locusts and we had 4 tanks for crickets. Oh my God, like you don't understand the fear that went through my fucking mind every fucking time I was there, because there was always at least 3 that had escaped. So I was sat there in the bed, fucking knees up, fucking rocking, and all you can hear is fucking crickets going. No.
They make a racket, don't they?
Oh, yes.
They make a racket.
Apparently it's supposed to go off the temperature. The chirping's supposed to go off the temperature. Don't know how that works, because they never.
I was still living at my mum and dad's house when I had that happen, and literally the crickets went everywhere, and fucking every fucking night all you could hear was crickets in the whole house. My mum was fucking screwing. Oh my God.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, fuck that. I hated it, absolutely fucking hated it. I didn't even like the mealworms being fucking bred. I tried breeding maxi worms as well, the big mealworms that are like that fucking big.
Yeah.
He was a dick though, because I'd freeze in fear, and he used to put mealworms on my knee, and I'm just fucking frozen. He just puts a bearded dragon on, and the bearded dragon's not getting it, and I'm like, fuck, leave it. Oh, I'm actually, a campaigner's actually given me his old fish tank, which is absolutely massive, and it's got a drawer in it as well. And I'm debating getting a snake for it.
Yeah, get one. Fuck it.
I've got a few
tanks.
Obviously, I've got me tarantulas tank here, and then I've got that big tank down there as well. I've got too many. Like this, honestly, this house used to be fucking full with them.
Speaking of tanks, I've got a tank being made. Company up the northeast fucking is making me a tank, and I ordered it. Fucking, I've got to contact them because it ain't come. I ordered it in October, fucking last year. Where the fuck is it, man? Oh, there's an area over there to fit one in perfectly. I wanted some puffer fish in there, pea puffers.
Aye.
Yeah, that's just reminded me. I'm gonna have to phone them on Monday.
Well, there's if you want any decent puffers, there's a shop up in Preston. I'll try and find the name of it. They've got 2 beautiful puffer fish in there.
Depends what type. Because
I think there's 2 different types. I'm not sure which one they are though, but I know there is 2 different types of puffer fish in there.
Yeah, the pea puffers they stay tiny, so they're pretty much eat, and you don't have to worry about their beaks.
The one they've got small, the other one they've got like that big.
Yeah, but if it's about that big, I can guarantee it's probably going to grow to about that fucking big.
Yeah.
Anything like that.
Yeah.
Like
People
anything
don't
like
realise
that.
how big they grow, do they?
Them fracker puffers or the what's the other one now? Baboo puffers, they can get fucking stupid size, and they'll take your hand off as well.
Yeah, that's what.
Their beaks are so sharp.
That's what. When I was, because obviously with my ex, he's also called Zach. He's got a big fish tank. I used to go and fill it up all the time. His is with a K though.
Rare to have it with a C.
I used to get message every time I used to mention my ex when we were together. I used to get messages going, "Are you with TR Zach?" I'm going, "No, wrong fucking Zach." But yeah, we got loads of stuff, and we used to go down there all the time. I think I spent over 200 quid on fish for him. I spent 40 quid on one fucking plec.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your cow spent stupid money on them in the past.
Problem is, he got angel fish, didn't he? So all these angel fish kept fucking eating my guppies. So I was spending fucking at least fucking 60 quid every time I was going up, mostly on guppies.
Fucking hell. And they breed like fuck as well.
Well, yeah, they do with no angel fish in there. Well, we bred one of our plecs because we had 5 plecs altogether. We had 2 albinos, 1 male, 1 female, 2 common bristlenose, male and female, and then we had I don't even know what it was called, but it was 40 quid. It was like a beige with black dots on it, really high, not like the common ones. And yeah, we ended up having a load of baby plecs be born like within 2 days of putting the males in there. It's fucked.
You know, if you've got your water conditions and everything perfect, they'll just breed. Any fish will. They're just fucking. I've got I set up a little nano tank. It was an aquascape, so it's more like gardening, if you like, you know, planting it out, and it looked fucking brilliant. And then we got what the fuck are they called now? Because Claire liked the colours of them. Endless, and I put them in there, and now there's fucking millions because they're live bearers like guppies, and they've bred stupid amounts, and they've just destroyed the whole fucking scape. Everything, all the plants.
So what I do, I think, at the end of the year, because I do want to get back into my reptiles. I fucking love it. I want another tank like this glass one, because the glass ones are proper sealed, and you can put water into it up until just before the door. And I want to do I want to get a big fucking tank and turn like a water feature into it, so I can have some fish in that water feature as well. I
wanted to do that. Create a big one, and have it like its own little ecosystem. I was going to put tree frogs in there.
That's what
yeah. That would be brilliant, but again, that'd be noisy as fuck. It would be noisy as fuck on the night.
That is literally the only thing with a water feature is it's noisy, and with frogs as well. The
frogs would definitely be noisy. That it's them that you got to fucking worry about, the noise they make.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be nice to do. What's it called? A terrarium, any? Is it terrarium?
Yeah,
you've got 2 different. You got
that's the vivarium. Terrariums for tarantulas. So it's like a plastic one with an open top with gridding all around the outside. This one's this is a vivarium, and so is that. That's a vivarium, and then you've got aquariums which are for fish.
Yeah, terrarium has the 2. It has water and like dry land.
Yeah,
so that's a terrarium. Isn't it? There's a proper word for it anyway.
Yeah,
so you'd have your plant, you'd have like a waterfall plants, and then your aquatic part at the bottom. Yeah,
I think it'd be mint to do, because I'd love to do it if I got like you know what, I'd even do it with a snake, even if I had no fish in it. With the big tank, I had a tank that was same width as the one my TV's on, but it was like twice as high. So, you know, it was massive. I mean, me and my son's godmother could fit in that perfectly. Like, we could sit in there with a bit of space, not much space, but with a bit of space with the snakes that are in there. And we used to make them like a little pond in there, because with snakes especially, the amount of times that they just curl up in their water bowl and stay there for a couple of days, it helps.
Yeah, it's good for them.
OB says, just get a female tree frog. It's usually the males allowed.
Yeah, that is right. It's the males that sing, isn't it? But it's sexing them. How do you sex them when they're so fucking small? You normally have to wait for them to reach maturity before you can sex them, and then.
With lizards and tarantulas, I can sex them easily. I can sex them by looking at them without popping them or anything like that. Fish, not so good at. And then, no. I don't think I'd be able to.
Yeah, just to answer Hal's question, there is there's some documentaries in the pipeline very soon. Very soon. That's all I can say.
Yeah, we were having a chat about that earlier, but I think it'd be better if people got it as a surprise. Better surprise people or get a shock when it comes out. Then.
See, Jack's tortoise. I don't know if you've seen his tortoise, but he swears it's a male. It's impossible to sex it at that age. It's just too fucking small. But he's adamant it's a male.
That's a problem. That's a problem with it. I mean, most of the time when people guess when they're young, they turn out to be wrong. But I mean, I used to work in, volunteer at a reptile shop called Exotic Reptiles in Stockport. And I used to just walk in and they used to just give me the keys. And they had this one drawer which had about 12 corn snakes in it. It was a massive drawer and they were all, communal and everything, so they were fine. But literally, I wanted a female snake because I had a male one, so I wanted a female one. So I was literally going through and they're going, right, we'll sex him, you pick him out and we'll sex him. So I'm picking it up, I'm looking at the tail, I'm going, right, that's a male, I don't want that one, handing it over. That's a male, handing it over. And they were coming back going, it is a male. It is a male. And I found one fucking female, which was the exact same patterning as the fucking male as well. They did lay though. They had 11 eggs and 5 of those eggs were white. Well, the snakes were white and they were both black snakes as well. So it was good to see the colouring that they hold. Yeah.
I've got a pal that breeds pythons. There's a lot of money in it. There's a hell of a lot of fucking money in it.
I mean, we used to do it. We used to breed our pets, and I fucking loved it. I mean, we had the problem with the geckos and the bearded dragons. We had problems with bearded dragon kept laying unfertile eggs, and the gecko was basically doing the same. Every 2 weeks, she was popping out 2 eggs that were like unfertile. So we struggled massively with them too. But like with geckos, I love geckos because when they're in egg form, you can actually manipulate if you want them to be male or female by the temperature you hold them at.
Yeah. You can do that with a lot of animals.
Yeah, which is weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Decide what eggs you want.
Yeah.
So I just read through them.
I'm just looking as well.
I agree with what Nikki's saying, to be fair.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. But it's worldwide, isn't it? It's not just here. It's worldwide, but it is like a rebalancing of the power that's knocked the people down again.
The thing is, if we don't persevere and we don't stay positive and stay on track and just keep fight through all the bullshit, then when the time comes, we're not going to be in a position to get it back on track the right way.
Yeah. Everyone has got to stay positive, and I know it's fucking hard. I know it really is hard. It is pushing everyone to their limits, I think, now. Especially those. I mean, I'm still going out to work. I'm classed as essential works, so my job can still carry on. But the people that are actually stuck in their houses, it must be fucking terrible for them. At least I'm getting out there and getting some interaction with people when I go to their house to do their jobs.
No, I mean, I've got a support worker. I'm not ashamed to say it. I've got a support worker, and I've had a support worker for roughly 2 years now. And I mean, because of my depression and my anxiety, I'm a isolated person anyway. I work at everything I do, most of what I do. I do it from home if I can do. And so it's took a lockdown. It's took a lot longer to hit me like it has done the rest of everyone because I'm an isolated person anyway. But when I was speaking to her the other day, she was saying that she's noticed that lockdown's even started to get to me now as well. And everyone's got to be suffering with it, even people who are normally isolated anyway.
Yeah, it is. It is affecting people. Like I say, I'll speak to them when I go to their houses, and it's fucking really affecting people. I'm seeing it. Just to answer Clark Ramsey there, he's Tommy on anything anymore. Yeah, he's on Telegram. He's on Gab. When Parler's back up and running, we'll be back on there. So yeah. He's still out there and on them. You can find him. He's got quite a few followers on Telegram now.
It's hard though, isn't it? When you get attacked from left, right, and centre, even when you've got massive people there supporting you, it still takes its toll. Everyone still needs to sometimes take a step away from it and take a break from it. I mean, I've been trying to do it since Christmas. I've been trying to take a step back from everything for a bit because my own mental health's been deteriorating. Yeah. And sometimes it's just what you need to do.
Everyone needs a break from time to time. Of course they fucking do. Otherwise it would do you in.
No, 100%. And it's hard. It's horrible to see like people don't understand. Some people, obviously not everyone, but some people don't understand that people need a break. People need to figure out what's wrong with them, like their motivation, you know, their headspace, so that they can come back bigger and better and fight back. And obviously the other thing is as well, with the amount of, like we were saying before, about people disappearing off to one particular side, I mean, that's also going to have an impact. Sharon's back.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'll say she's back. It's just froze as soon as I clicked. As soon as I clicked her on, it froze.
Hello.
Hiya, there you are.
How was your walk?
Oh, I was just dropping her off. She's took the dog. She's gone up. I had to take her to the beach over to Redcar for the to take the dog out. She was meeting her dad, so.
To the beach. I'd love to go to the beach right now. Fucking.
It's very cold up north. I don't know what it's like everywhere else, but it's very cold.
At least you've got a beach, something nice to look at. I mean, Birmingham's fucking Birmingham.
Yeah. Well, I usually, we've got a choice, the woods or the beach, so it's nice. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
And then when she comes back, she's cooking Sunday lunch, so it's all good.
So dinner at your house then, Sharon?
Yeah, daughter's cooking.
We're up there.
Yes. So what have I missed?
Well, we've been talking about spiders and reptiles.
Yeah, spiders, fish, and reptiles.
Have you?
Oh, this always happens. I did an entire show on Wake Up UK about tarantulas because Jason like mentioned it, and that's it. Just went off onto a whole show about it.
Is that since I left talking about Bill Gates and his vegan agenda?
we only recently got onto it, so we're all right. But,
oh man.
People are still fighting back though. I mean, that's always a bonus, isn't it? I mean, even though like things are down a bit at the minute, there are people still fighting back. I just clicked off. Okay, why did I do that? I went to click on Wake Up UK and I went off it.
Italy have made a stand. They've I believe their bars and restaurants are open till 5 p.m. in 3 areas. So they just point blank refused, but they all come together, didn't they? They all work together. That's what you got to do.
I heard something about apparently a great reopening was supposed to happen yesterday, where loads of shops and that were supposed to reopen, but I've not seen anything of it actually doing it. So I think one woman in her 60s did.
Yeah.
That I've seen anyway.
I just saw a post as well saying that now they're saying that anybody that's been vaccinated could pass on COVID.
Yeah.
This is the thing that's like, why haven't people looked into what's in vaccines in the first place? Before this vaccine even came up, look at what's in the vaccines, like the original vaccines, the vaccines that we've all fucking had, you know, and then you got to think, well, if that's what's in the other vaccines, what the fuck's in this one?
It makes me laugh when people compare today's vaccines to vaccines that were around 30, 40, 50 years ago. Do you know, like, there's been life-saving vaccines, but that was before Bill Gates got involved, basically.
Yeah.
He created a virus for his computer network so that you'd have to buy the fucking cure. So, you know, it's no different, is it? It's just moved on to human life instead of your computer system.
If there's no demand, create the demand.
He likes creating viruses and then selling the solution.
Aye. Right, whereas I was just on the phone for 2 hours and he was scared he was missing. He sent me a message saying I put a question on. I did put the question on from Nika.
What was the question?
It was right at the beginning. I think it was like what should we do, or what the remedy is. I think it was that one. I'm not too sure.
The remedy is we all just find our common sense and our fearlessness.
Yeah.
And we get on with daily life.
Yeah.
I mean, look, just look at this live. You just look at this live. I mean, we've all come from different causes. You know, we've all come from different parts of the country. We all focus on different stuff and do our own thing, yet we can quite easily have a conversation about something that's affecting all of us.
Yeah.
And we're all being manipulated by the handful of people that seem to think they own this world and we should do as they say. And I think when people realise that they don't own the world and they don't own us, and we're born with free will to make our own decisions, and we're born with inalienable rights, and they need to reclaim those rights and stand in their own power. And the more people that stand up for themselves and what they believe is right, other people will follow. Like with all these groups and all these causes and everything, it starts with a couple of people, a handful of people feeling like they need to be proactive about something, getting out there, shouting about it, and then getting a following of people who also agree that that needs to change. So,
Yeah.
you know, like we were just saying, they've done it in Italy, you know.
Chances are the three of us don't agree on everything. I mean,
No.
that's the chances are the three of us will not agree on everything. But we all agree that we don't have to agree on everything.
That's the beauty of individualism, isn't it? We're all individuals. We've all got our own views on things.
It's like
But
a
you
car.
have common ground where you come together and you agree on that common ground.
I mean, the way I see it is, it's like a car. It's the way, the way a car functions. Not every piece is the same. Not every piece has got the same job. You know, pieces have got completely different jobs to each other, completely different ends of the vehicle that do completely different things. But because they work together, the car will move, the car will go, the car will function, and they'll work together as one machine, as a cog. But they've all got their own individual roles. They've all got their own methods and their own purposes, but they all work together.
Well, look at the human body's the same. We're a community within ourselves of cells and different parts that function, and they all work together beautifully to create human life. And people lose the importance of that. For some, we've been distorted into like people thinking that like abortion full term is all right. It's somehow okay to do that because it's my body, my choice. Well, wait a minute, that's murder by any other standard. You know, you take a life like that's potentially living and breathing before you murdered it. You know, it's packaged up as children don't matter. That's what it's packaged up as. It's packaged up as children are a commodity that you can just decide, actually, after 9 months, I've decided I don't want to go through with this because I'm a bit selfish and I want my own life back. And, you know, I've got to look after another life for the rest of my life. Well, pity you for not seeing the absolute privilege that is and appreciating every single moment, every second. My daughter worries like shit, right? She worries about everything. And I'm like, you're at home with your kids. You've got a beautiful family. You've got a nice home. You've got nothing really to worry about. But all of this shit that you get bombarded with, you worry about. And it's like, why are you worrying about what you're missing out on from the past or worrying about what the future's going to look like? You're missing right now where your kids are playing. And it's like, all of that is
that's the only moment you can ever live in, the now. You can't live in the future. You can't live in the past. You can only live in the now. It's the only thing you've got any kind of control over, the now.
And how many people sitting there now? How many people sitting there now are completely safe? They've got food. They've got shelter. There's nothing really hurting them in that moment, but they're hurting themselves with the thoughts that they let process.
And the future, they're worrying about the future, and they're fucking hurt by the past. You've got to live in the now.
Absolutely.
I know it is off subject, but it's a fucking brilliant comment. Can you put that one up? Can I put it up?
Which one?
Simon's comment, and I ended up fucking laughing as soon as I read it.
Was it that one or the other one? Oh, that one. Never mind.
Fucking
off subject here, but was attacked by cows last month and was laughed at for being scared, but someone was killed.
Cows are dangerous. Cows are dangerous. They really are.
It's just the fact where I was attacked by cows. I mean, all you can imagine is just walking into a field and like cows fucking come waddling up like, hey.
Simon, I feel for you because you risk life and limb there, mate. Honestly, my son-in-law used to work with cows. They're really dangerous. They're cute though, aren't they? I ain't been in field with them, mate. If they start coming towards me, that's me. I'm gone.
My dog ran into a fucking herd of them. Kyra had, she was a Shar-Pei. She ran into a fucking herd of them, and they were jumping. She was like trying to go at them. You could feel the ground vibrating from them jumping and everything. And I had to run in the middle of them to grab hold of her to get her out of there. Fucking hell, man.
They are. They'll crush you and everything.
It's like, I mean, you can only cow tip so many times before they start realizing if that person comes over to me, I'm ended up on my back.
I do like them when they're near the fence, though. I go up and talk to them and that, but I don't like being in field with them.
I'd stroke him, but it's one of them, like, they have a really long tongues that like to wrap around your wrist, you know, if you get close to them. So I'm like, I'll stroke you from up here.
Yeah, well, being a Taurus, you're a fellow Taurus, aren't you, Zach?
Yeah, so I can relate with them.
Got to like the bulls.
Oh, I've got to do it because I've not heard it said in ages. But Timmy's just put in the fucking comments, "Oh, matron," and I've not heard that in ages.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. Oh, this is the sort of thing that we need to be doing, like having a giggle with each other and like genuinely getting conversation out there about it. Because, like I was saying before, we are all different people. We are all in this for different reasons. And the fact that we can have an open conversation, you know, we can have a giggle, we can have a serious talk, and we all just appreciate that not everyone's going to think the same as us. Not everyone's going to feel the same as us. You know, everyone's got their own interpretation and, you know, their own ideas of what's going on or what's happening or whatever. But the thing is, it's not going to be one particular route, one particular group that's going to solve this problem. It's the people.
We are in it for different reasons. Ultimately, it's the same fucking goal. We just want to live a normal life. We don't want to live a normal, decent life where everyone can just get on and fucking just be happy. And we shouldn't be having to do what we do. We shouldn't be in this position.
Exactly.
I was saying to Katie Jane earlier that my daughter was out for a walk last week, and there were 6 of them, but
cows.
And they were out walking the dogs on the beach, you know, whatever. But when she went to work the next day, somebody there was like, "Oh, saw you out. There seemed to be a lot of you. Me and my child were playing a game of who lives in the same household. Who do you think lives in the same household?" And I said, maybe next week's game will be, let us show you how mummy and daddy gave all your freedoms and rights away and taught you to comply with the government agenda. That might be a good game for next week. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
And that's what it's doing. It's actually turning people on each other. That's the whole fucking, what I can see. It seems to be the whole point of it. Grass your neighbour up. Exactly what happened in fucking Germany. Grass them up.
They need to do history. They need to focus on a history level, a history lesson even, in the homeschool. And all these parents, you need to look at what happened to the Jews. See if you think that were fair. See if you think that could have happened without all of the virtue signalers that were buying into that agenda. Because, you know, the government always has your best interests at heart, don't they? There's no depopulation plan or anything. You know, Bill Gates wants us all to thrive. He wants more children in Africa, doesn't he? He's injecting them with all that good stuff to create more life in Africa and make sure everybody's not born crippled, eh?
Right, I'm only going to pull this comment up because of a certain word in it. And I'm not going to go into it too much because I just really don't want to be honest. But someone's commented about abortion. The only thing I can say on that is there are situations where the woman is left with no choice. There are situations where that is the only choice to go through with that. And it kills that person for, you know, the rest of their lives. It's not something that goes away. If they've got genuinely no choice and that is their only option.
But in 9 months, I was talking about being full-term pregnant.
Full term, yeah, full term is completely different. That's a fucking fully formed human being.
I didn't say people shouldn't have abortions. I think people should think carefully about their taking care of their not getting pregnant in the first place, instead of just thinking I can pop a pill and get rid the next day. Or if I'm a bit late for that, it's all right. I've got 9 months to decide. I wasn't talking about those people early stages that can't deal with another child or can't afford another child or being raped.
I know you weren't. It's just because the comment it says abortion, no term. They're a baby from conception. Features is a word for disconnecting your heart from your baby. And that the reason why I want to bring it up is because people need to remember there are rape babies out there. There are babies that have been conceived through
There
that.
are people that have genuine reasons why, but like what Sharon's saying, you know, once you get to a certain stage, and then it's fucking wrong because it's a life, it's a fully formed human life, and it'd be murder in any other sense. It's murder.
I know girls.
It's like adoption.
I know girls who use it like contraception, abortion, like contraception. They've got rid of twins and everything, right? And it's wrong. They should have been sterilised. I'm not against taking your rights away. But in certain cases, like we were saying about, we can't all agree on everything, right? There's no hard and fast rule. There's always exceptions to the rule. So, you know, one person might be using abortion like a contraceptive because they can't be bothered to take care of their own health, their own body. Too damn lazy, I think, and or selfish even. And then there's those that it breaks their heart to have to go through that. And it makes a mockery of it for them. And it's like you're always going to get people at the extremes. But generally, if you've decided in the first 3 months that you can't, it's the wrong thing to go ahead with that pregnancy, then yes, of course you should have that right. But when they take away the time frame of when you can make that decision, then that's wrong, because when you're deciding at 8 months through your pregnancy, that's murder. I'm not calling people that have abortions murder. I'm calling people that kill fully formed babies murderers. So
I'm going to open up, right, to you two and to everyone who's watching. And I've not opened up about this before, but I will do. And any judgment that comes my way because of it, fair fucking dues, I'll take it. 18th of January 2015, I was forced into one. Like, I'm not going into the instances of how I became pregnant in the first place, but I already had a 1-year-old that was turning 2. And, you know, I just moved back from Germany. The instances where that, you know, led up to me becoming pregnant weren't admirable in the slightest, you know, and I had a choice. Do I make my 2-year-old son's life a hell of a lot harder because of having another one, or do I put the child I've got now first and prioritize that child? Because I was only young myself, you know, I was only about 18, 19. So, you know, I did it. I was pressured into going for an abortion, or termination as they call it, but I did. And I remember the exact date that I went ahead, 18th of January, and I'll never forget that.
You'll never forget that, you have to make
how far on were you, can I ask?
But this is the thing with termination, and this is the part that fucking kills me, they will not terminate unless there's a heartbeat, because if there's no heartbeat, you're going to miscarry anyway. 6 weeks, I was. Yeah.
And I think you have an option, don't you? You get to 12 weeks, and then you have to wait till you're 16 weeks to have induced labour after that point if you still don't want to carry full term. And I was actually given that option 28 years ago to you bet if you don't want to keep the child. This was when I got told I was pregnant in the doctor's surgery. She said, I don't know whether it was my face was shocked or whatever, but I kind of knew I was, but it was having it confirmed. And the first thing she said to me, where I think this agenda really started 30 years ago, is that if I didn't want to keep it, I should decide pretty quick, because I was 11 weeks or whatever, 10 weeks already, or I'd have to wait till I was 16 weeks so that I could have induced labour. And I thought, whoa, can you imagine? I couldn't even. Do you know what I mean? So that was given as an option.
When they told me that it had to have a heartbeat before they could do anything, that broke me. That still haunts me for this day, because before that point, there was no heartbeat. It was just something growing. And it still haunts me to this day. I mean, I've had a moment on the 18th that we've just gone past. I had a moment where, I hated myself for doing it, but I don't hate myself for doing it at the same point, because my kids wouldn't have had the upbringing that they would have had. And I probably wouldn't have ended up being stable because of the circumstances surrounding it in the first place anyway.
You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, because you're either label. If these people that want to judge and put labels on people, right, they're going to say, oh, if you're anti-abortion, judge you for that maybe. Or, well, you should have thought about that before you got pregnant. you can't say that. You don't know what circumstances these people are in. And secondly, if you'd have had another child and then whatever, in circumstances that weren't you couldn't deal with, or you weren't suitable to have another child, you get damned for bringing another child into that situation. So you've got to just get to a point where I made the right decision in that moment for my life at that time, and that's what I had to do, and leave it there.
You can only live in the now, that one moment in time. You can only live in that one moment at a time. You can't live in
tearing yourself up about a decision that you had to make in that moment, that you might not have made in this moment, but you had to in that moment. Yeah. It's just a waste of your energy, and it takes years off your life. You know, my mum was quite miserable. I would say she was miserable for most of my life in the circumstances, a relationship, everything. And I just thought, I'm not going to go through life waiting to die like that for 30 or 30, whatever long years. Because she lived till she was 82. So that's a long time to be miserable for me. And I just thought, I can't, that's soul destroying to watch somebody be so unhappy with their life, that you have to make every day matter. You have to you've got to listen to yourself. I wouldn't have found out I had this cancer if I didn't follow the fact that I'd got pain there. Do you know what I mean? If I could have just ignored. You've got to listen to your body. Your body will tell you what you need to know. But with depression and things like that, you've got to feed your soul with the right things.
It's one of them as well, though. Like, if you've never been put in a position where you've had to contemplate going down those routes, sorry, then there's not really much conversation that you can bring to the table. Because I mean, I've got my auntie, her eldest is a rape baby. You know, her eldest kid is one that was conceived, by a perpetrator. And she raised him. He's older than me. He used to babysit me in Germany and everything. And like, I still sat down with her when I was younger, and we had the conversation. And she was saying about how it was, it was the hardest thing she's ever done, because every time she looked at that kid, she saw the person who violated her. Yeah. And so there is that other aspect as well, is because my worst abuser is my son's dad. My biggest fear is that my son will be like him. That is my all-time biggest fear, that my son will end up being something like him, especially now he's there. I pray to God that it's nothing like him and he's more like me than his dad. But there's always going to be that question, because we don't know the future. We can't tell the future.
And that's why you shouldn't live in the future.
Well, exactly.
You never live in the future. You can only live in the now.
You deal with whatever comes up today, and when you get up in the morning, if you make it
at that moment in time, when you come across it, that's it. That's all you can do.
Yeah, you've got to find your inner peace in order to create a peace around you. And whatever doesn't sit right with you, you've got to deal with it or move away from it. And it's like, there's a solution to every problem. And even if you can't fix the problem, the solution is to forget about it, because there's nothing you can do about it. So why are you worrying about it?
Live in the past, live in the present.
Completely, because that's the gift. The present is the gift.
There's a book by a man called Eckhart Tolle.
I love him.
He's brilliant, I know. And it's called the Now, isn't it? Is it called the Now?
I don't know. There's loads of stuff.
Power of Now. He's brilliant.
I'm gonna have a look now.
Bruce Lipton, Eckhart Tolle. Who's the other? I've been listening to a lot of religious. Like, there's a lot of people in like priests and things that have obviously going against all of these vaccines and the COVID stuff, because they know that, well, they see it as the mark of the beast and all that, don't they? So changing your DNA and all that. But there's a lot of stuff out at the moment that's really worth listening to and understanding. It takes you've got to find the right person to explain the higher self, the soul connection, the being human, I guess, and having a human experience, if you see what I mean. And it's when you start looking at quantum mechanics and all that, that's all part of it, because you've got to believe in what you can't see in order to understand yourself deeply.
Well,
And
like
it's finding the
Rachel-
right person to give you that information.
So I just wanted to let Rachel in the chat know that I wasn't having a go at her. It's just I was using that comment as an opportunity to talk about it. Because I do see it all the time where people start posting about, you know, if you've ever had an abortion or a termination, then you're a murderer. And it's not the case with a lot of us. It's not the case. A lot of the time, it's, you know, thinking about the life that you could have actually given that child if you went ahead with it. And at that time, I'd just moved into this house. You know, I had with me nearly 2-year-old. My mum was living with me
You
as
don't
well.
have to justify anything, Bert. You don't have to justify anything.
Yeah.
You know, you haven't gone 8
Nikki's
months
just
and
said
thought,
she's having the same as you, Sharon. She said she's always been an atheist. And do you know what? I'm seeing a lot of people saying the same thing. They are looking towards the more spiritual side of things, and starting to explore more of that.
That's
And
what
as
I
I
did.
say, because
if
I
you
speak to the
remember that
Americans, they are highly religious. So
thoughts come into your head. They don't come out of your head. They come
Yeah.
into your head. You receive those downloads. You receive your physical body will interpret messages. So
Yeah.
you know, it's connecting all three to understand. But they say the greatest healers have been through the greatest
Traumas.
trauma. Thank you. I couldn't think of a word there, because the universe needs to know that you are capable of healing yourself before you try to heal anybody else. So you need that trauma in order to get through that, to heal yourself, in order to help other people. So that's why most of these healers and empaths have been through a lot of trauma. And it's seeing how you can flip that and use it. Why have I been given that lesson? I have to then, if you've got to pass it on, and that's how it works, isn't it? When you learn something, you've got to pass it on if it's for the good of all.
Well, that's what I mean. Since I started protesting, one of the first people I ever come across, and you know, right, one of the first people I ever met with the campaigning, I didn't find out until not last year, the year before, but he was ex-Antifa 30 odd years ago, and he considers himself far left. And he was one of the first people that I ever come across when I was campaigning. I'll come across him years ago, and I only found out the year before last that, you know, he used to be part of Antifa. But he's a dad of forced adoption. And all he ever cared about, all I ever saw from him myself, was him fighting for the kids. I've completely lost track of where I was going with this. Fuck. But yeah, like, everyone comes through it for a reason, and the kids bring everyone together. And I don't have contact with him anymore because he kind of went a bit doolally. But, you know, everyone comes together, and everyone comes together for the kids. And this, yeah, it's not coming back. I thought I could ramble a bit and it'd come back to
I think I know
think-
what you're basically saying he's from a completely different background, but he's still got that same common goal, and that fight to reach that goal.
This is why I think kids are the things that are going to bring everyone together, because most people have got kids. If they've not, they've got nephews and nieces, they've got cousins, they've got siblings, they've been kids at the very least. You know,
I'm not so sure, because in the comments people are still talking about the cows.
yeah. Well, Sharon got me onto spiritual stuff to the point I've even got like fucking shitloads of tarot cards.
I love my tarot.
I do. I love my tarot cards. I've got a fucking stack like that full of fucking different boxes of them.
The thing is, when you look at astrology, and then you look at the tarot readers, and the astrology explains the different energies in the atmosphere because of where the planets are lined up, which houses they're in, and all that. And then the tarot readers, they pick up on that energy. You can tell through the reading if they're picking up that energy, because it tallies. Either that, or they study astrology really well.
To be fair.
I'm sure, Sharon, it was you that told me what was I, a fucking fire rooster or something like that.
Yeah, it will have been, won't it? I think we were talking about Odin and all that, weren't we? Because
it was really something to do with, and the Chinese, oh God,
Chinese astrology, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a dog.
Yeah,
you don't want to be saying that out loud, Sharon.
I'm a metal dog, but because I'm a Taurus, I'm a bulldog. You get me?
I was a fucking fire rooster.
I don't even know. I'd probably be something stupid like a donkey.
Don't know if there is a donkey, mate. I think there's a horse, not a donkey.
There's a pig, a rat.
Got my animal one. I'm gonna have a look.
My one daughter's a monkey, the other one's a rat.
I'd be all right with the monkey one. I've got my card. I'll see if there's a donkey one.
Yeah. There's horse, monkey, dog, rooster, pig,
I've already got
snake,
comedian, yeah.
boar. I think boar's the same as pig, though, isn't it? Yeah.
I found a horse. It was one of the first ones, but I don't know if they've got a donkey. Oh, they've got a wolf and a snake.
Yeah. So that goes on the year that you're born. What year were you born, Zach?
77.
When?
77.
77.
Yeah.
Yeah.
95 for me.
95. That's the year. So you're the one before the rat, then.
Oh.
I'm sure it was a rooster. I'm sure you said I was a fire rooster.
Yeah, you
Please.
might be.
The year
Oh.
you were born, but then there's them different elements in it as well, aren't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're an animal in the elements, yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm
I can't
metal
remember.
dog.
I found the dog one. It says, be loyal to what you love.
As
I'm still
dogs
trying to
always
find
are.
There's no donkey.
No.
So how are you now, Sharon, anyway, since being diagnosed, what's going on?
Well, I'm still waiting to find out. I should be having an operation, but they've apparently there's so much COVID around this area that all three hospitals, the Hartlepool, Middlesbrough, and North Tees, I think most of the staff are off sick. I think that's the problem. They've not got enough staff. So Nuffield, they're having to book the surgeries in with Nuffield to use their theatre. So because I had a bit of an issue about them sticking something up my nose, I said I would do the COVID test if I could do it myself. So my surgeon rang me up and said, what's the situation with the COVID test? Because you have to have one to get an appointment. I can't book your appointment until you've agreed to do a COVID test. And I said, as long as I can do it myself, I'm happy, I'll do it. So he went off to find out if I could do that myself. And then he was going to book theatre time at Nuffield because it's like a 6-hour operation. So I'm just waiting now to find out when that will be. But he's not been getting his, finding out himself until the week before what operations he can do. So it's all a bit of a farce, really, because the private hospitals are managing fine.
These surgeons, they all specialise in their field. So they're not going to be off helping in COVID at all. They're not going to be having anything to fucking do with it. They specialise in their particular field. So I can't see why their shit has to close down. It's
because what they're saying is anaesthetists and other nurses and aftercare nurses, they're all off sick. None of the nurses around here want the vaccine, I don't think. I think there's been a bit of an issue about a lot of the nurses around this area don't want the vaccine. So it's causing a bit.
that's
and I think I think there's a load of staff off sick. I think the shortage of staff, there's advertisements, the really short of staff in the NHS this area. I think it's the actual staff being off sick causing the problem.
They've been replacing NHS staff with volunteers as well. One of our admin, he was part of the NHS and he got laid off because he got his job got taken over by volunteers.
There's a lot of smoke and mirrors going on and a lot of money getting handled behind the scenes. There must be, because if Nuffields can take all the operations that have been cancelled from 2 hospitals, 3 hospitals, I mean, they must be doing all right out of it. They won't be doing it for free, will they?
No, but all the thing is, though, everyone who's losing their lives because the hospital aren't treating them, their cases are going down as COVID, so the COVID numbers are going up.
And I'd like to know how many of these deaths from COVID have been since they had the vaccine rather than pre-vaccine, because people are getting they get the vaccine and then they test positive for COVID. So now there's an article saying that people that have had the vaccine can now pass it on to people.
I'm sure yesterday I come across a let's see if I've saved it. I come across a graph yesterday that actually showed the cases and then the cases after the vaccination as well, where there was a massive spike after the vaccination.
Well, my surgeon, he's like, oh, there's over 100,000 people died of it. And I'm like, have they really though? Do you know what I mean? And he's like, oh, I'm not getting So I have to, because I don't want to upset him. Obviously, he's going to be cutting me in pieces, so I don't want to upset him. But I just have to avoid the conversation. And I'm like, right, I will do the test, but I'm not having anybody sticking anything up my nose. And he knows I can't wear the masks either. So they give me one of those visors the last time. I was in the hospital because they didn't like me walking around without a mask on. But I'm like, but like you say, surgeons, they do what they do, and everything else. They just have to take on everyone's word for it. They can't look at everything. But
I've just clicked on my phone. Then I just want to give a massive thank you to Nadia, because I've just clicked on my phone and I've just seen so at the top, if it come up, that Nadia's just donated £10 to Children Matter. So thank you, Nadia. You're an absolute legend. I just want to say thank you for that. Sorry.
No, that's all right. So that's the state of play, really. I'm just waiting for my operation, and then I'll be in there 5 or 6 days, and then I'll be all right. It'll be gone. Yeah. They're going to take some muscle out of my back to pull around the front to rebuild it. So at least I'm losing the lefty. That's my thing. At least the lefty's going and not me right. But yeah, so he's going to pull some muscle out of my back. It's going to mess my tattoo up a little bit, but so it's going to take a little while longer to heal, because it's quite a big operation. But I'm just hope I don't lose movement too much, with having that done. Really,
it might be a bit tight with rotating your arm after. There's a lady around the corner from me. I'm her beautician, so I go around and do a spray tan for her and everything. And she's had one completely gone. So she has only got one breast now. She doesn't even have plastic, not plastic one, but an aesthetic one to put on. But she was saying the reason why she didn't go and get an aesthetic one put on was because she was skinnier than me, and because obviously she didn't have the weight on her to be able to move anything around. She got told that it would have been tight for her. She still would have got rotation, but it would have just been like a tight movement. Yeah, I'm glad that Nikki's just put that in. Sorry, because I was going to say it, so I'm actually glad Nikki's just put that in, because I was actually going to say that. I was trying to avoid it.
I can't see it, so.
I'll put it up on screen. No, won't. I'll just say it. Simon said it is extremely anti-abortion in all cases. Life is a precious gift which must not be taken regardless of circumstances. People who have sex are grown up, and in brackets, well, not Islamic girls, so use protection. In my case, it wasn't consensual. In my case, I didn't know what was going to happen, and I didn't have a say in what was going to happen. So, yes, I was sexually active around that time. I already had a kid, so technically I was already sexually active anyway. But I wasn't wanting to be sexually active in that moment when that occurred. That was completely taken out of my hands. I had no choice in that whatsoever. And
it's not to be sexist, but I don't think a man could really comprehend the emotional distress that a woman goes through after she's made that decision and gone through with that decision either. It's not an easy decision to make, and it's something that for a lot of women it really haunts them afterwards, and they can't undo what they've done. They've made the decision for whatever reason was right at that moment, and they can't undo it, but they've got to live with that decision that they made. And if they find themselves in a better position and think, well, if only, well, that's no good for you, bird. You need to just accept that was a decision. But for a man to say you disagree with it on all levels, no matter what, yes, it is a life, but you've got to think of that life suffering for all its life if it's born into the wrong circumstances.
Yeah.
There's always an exception, and don't try to justify or what decision you made, Katie Jane, because you don't have to. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's what I said before. Anyone who's not been forced to confront themselves about this situation, then really there's not much of a conversation to be had, because unless you understand what brings you to that point, then I can't begin to try and explain to people what it's like, because it is one of the worst decisions you'll ever have to make, and it's one of them decisions you have to make there and then, and that decision is a lifetime decision. Once you've made that decision, you can't change your mind. You've got to make the right decision for you and for your environment. That includes, your family, your other kids, whatever, that's right for them. The decision I made wasn't even for me. like I said, I was pushed into it. I was pressured into it. I personally didn't want to go through with it. I personally didn't want to do that, but it was the best option. And it was the only option that I realistically had for my son, for my family, for what I was doing. And I wouldn't be in the position that I am now. I wouldn't have got the qualifications that I did or the experience that I did if I hadn't have made the decision that I made. I've got to, I've spent years coming to terms with that decision, of what I did. And yeah, every year I still pay my respects to that piece of me that is no longer there. I still do the same thing as what I do for my son's birthday or my daughter's birthday. I celebrate their memory. I just respect it and just show that I do, I do still hold it in me, that I've not forgotten. And it is just for me. This is the first time I've come out openly and told people, but I do it every year. Every year I'll do something special between me and that part of me that's no longer there. But it's a decision I had to make. And I don't regret making that decision. I really don't regret making that decision, because the way everything's turned out since then, things would have been a hell of a lot harder if I didn't. Like, I'd have 3 kids now that I don't see. I probably would have had my kids taken a lot earlier than what they were, but
I had 2 kids, but I had my first child when I was 22, and I had my second child when I was 26. And I had 2 failed relationships. Once he got to a year old, that was it. I knew I had to leave. And so when I got with my husband, who I was with like 10 years, I made the decision to go get sterilised at 30-year-old, because I thought, my experience is failed relationships. If I have another child, that's another child with another dad. And it's like, I know my limit. 2, if I end up on my own again, right, I've got 2 children. If I allow myself to have another one, and then I shouldn't have got into it thinking it were going to fail, but it was an agreement between the 2 of us at that time. Later on, he felt deprived of being a dad, but I had to make that decision to not fall pregnant. If I'd have fallen pregnant, I would have had children. However many times I would have fallen, and I wasn't very good at taking the contraceptive pill. Your husband don't want to wear a condom every time you're in bed. So I made a permanent decision to accept that 2 was my limit. The circumstances that I've been in, the amount of times I'd moved around and been homeless and all the rest of it with my kids, I wasn't going to put another child through that if that was going to be the case. I was secure for 10 years, and I did think, oh, well, maybe. But then my daughter had my grandson, who is like the son I never had. Like, I really felt I would have had a boy next time I got pregnant. But I got my grandson by the time I was like, I was 42. So I was blessed in the fact that my family was growing, and I don't regret that decision.
No, I mean, it's like with what happened with my kids, I know that I've got 5 years left, 4.5 years left to make the decision to have my tubes tied, because of what's happened with my kids. That was literally my first reaction was, I want my tubes tied. I don't want to be put in a position where my own flesh and blood's going to be used against me again, going to be taken away from me and leave me, a shattered human being like it did the first times. And my doctors were like, I'm not allowed to get it before the age of 30, but I've got it bookmarked, so I can make that decision when it comes down to it. But that's the other thing, isn't it? It's just fucking shite.
Well, that was another thing.
You can only make a decision at that moment in time. Whatever you're faced with, you can only decide there and then. That's it.
No,
I
exactly.
thought I was going to have to push my case. I was getting married. I had 2 healthy children. I thought I was going to have to push my case to get sterilised at the age of 30. Because everyone was telling me, oh, no, they won't do it, you have to have good reason. They'll want to speak to your husband-to-be and all, make sure he's happy with the decision and all that.
I was 28 when I had a vasectomy, and they were fine with it.
Yeah,
I had no problem at all. I went and asked for it, and straight away, put me straight through for it.
And I think that's the difference from other people's experiences a few years before. It was like, it's almost encouraged. She was just like, all right, okay, are you sure about it? Yeah, fine, sign me up for it. I thought it was going to be harder than that, because other people had said to me, oh, they don't like doing it before a certain age and whatever. But
I was told that were the same, but they were fine.
Both me and my ex got told Yeah, me and my ex both got told 30 for him to have a vasectomy and for me to have my tube side. We both got told 30. Obviously, we asked at different times in different places and that, but yeah, we both got told 30.
Yeah.
It's sad though to see that young people going forward for these alternatives. You know what I mean? It never used to be like that back in the day, where people didn't meet until they were in like the 20s, and then they settled down for a relationship and started everything. Everyone's just too eager to grow up, and then as soon as we are grown up, we're like, yeah, we've made the mistakes already. Now we're best, put things in concrete.
They've been sexualizing children for years now. Very, all these beauty pageants for 5-year-olds and all this, putting them in dresses and makeup, and just through the education system even more now, sexualizing them. That's why they're growing up too quick, I think, as well. It's just, and then they want to say there's however many fucking genders, and I'm just like, you're a boy or a girl, you get your body, you're born with it. I'm sorry if you don't like it, but I think it'd be better for you if you just make the best of it, decide that, this is the suit I was born into. For whatever reason, I've got lessons to learn in this body, in this mind. So it's I think the whole point of it is finding peace within yourself. Yeah, fair enough, if you don't like something, you can change it, but it's like pushing that agenda as the next craze.
I mean, I completely understand people who go for the transgender thing, because at the end of the day, my ex, Anna, is now my best mate, Lewis. Me and him, I keep saying him, I need to say him. Me and him, we grew up in care together. We were both in care, but same street, just different houses. I was in a care home for people with eating disorders because it was the only one available with space in it. And he was in a mixed care home. But we grew up together. He was half English, half German, and I was fully English. So we became friends because of the language, because we could understand each other and talk to each other. But when I knew him as Anna, he was very reserved. He hated people touching him, hated people talking to him. He was always covered up.
Did he have a form of autism at all?
No.
Just out of interest.
No.
Because a lot of them, it turns out that they were on the spectrum, and it was because of their autism that they felt that they were not right.
Absolutely that point. I worked with a girl that she got diagnosed. She's now a he. She's now Alan, and she felt so much better going from she to he. And she was they kept her in the mental health unit for fucking ages. Really cruel, really, because she was only like 12 or 13 at the time. And then she converted. She's not had a sex change operation, but she's now living as Alan. And that's his choice. That's how he feels. It's better himself, and he has got autism. But
with some people, like with Lewis, for example, like I grew up with him from the age of like 14, 15, and like you could tell, like if you saw him now compared to then, you can see a massive difference. All of a sudden, he's got his confidence there. He knows what he wants to do. If he's got a goal to do something, he's going out there and he's doing it. Nothing's going to stop him. And it's complete different to what he was like when he was Anna. And you can see that, some people, it is a genuine thing that, they aren't in the right body. They are so uncomfortable with themselves that, they do it.
One of the world leaders on this actually got sacked from his job for suggesting that it was autism that was to blame. That's what he'd seen. He said it was, majority of them are autistic. But then just recently, you've had that one that's come out that's fighting against it. That's transgendered, changed their gender, but they realised they made a mistake. And all the people that are coming forward to them that are in the same boat, it turns out all of them are fucking autistic. Every single one of them are diagnosed being on the spectrum.
The guy that actually was one of the first in the country to have a sex change operation, and I think it was in America, he's now like in his 70s or something, but he campaigns against it. He got further surgery back because he was convinced by the psychologist and the family certain trigger points. But what he was abused as a child, that confused him by an uncle, and then his psychologist told him he should change into a woman, and they must have been pushing that agenda, really. And so he said he's working with people that's either thinking about a change or have to change, and have become suicidal, and most of them commit suicide rather than get changed back, because what they find is it doesn't solve the problem of how they feel. And he said a lot of them had been abused as children as well, which they couldn't accept the body they were in any longer because it brought them pain, or they saw it that way. So they needed to change for those reasons. And I think that It's like if you're born and you're disabled, right? You won't like your body even when you see everybody running around in the park. But there's nothing you can do about it. So you have to. Their strength comes from learning to live and adapt and live your life around that situation.
That's a brilliant way. That's a brilliant way of putting it. That's fucking probably the best way I've heard it put. If you're born disabled, you can't fucking say I want to change to an able-bodied person. You've
got to learn to love the body that you're born in, even though it doesn't serve your purpose. You've got you're going to tap into other skills that you didn't realise you had. While you're wishing you could run around in the park and not accepting your body, you could be running around in the park with, I don't know, wheels on your legs or whatever it takes to get some speed up and follow that ball around that park. You know, this is where these great inventions and these great things come from. It's like you have to work your way through the adversity of it. And if you don't feel you're in the right body, but then you've got everybody's confused when they're kids. Everybody's curious and confused. And if you're in a situation in a school where they're going, oh, maybe you're in the wrong sex, maybe you're in the wrong body at the age of freaking 7, it's gonna compound that. And then you're going to have a lot of people that's thinking it's the right thing to do at 16, and then at 26 thinking, what the fuck was I thinking? Because nobody is the same at 26 as they are at 16. Nobody thinks the same. They might not even be, attracted to the same gender that they were.
Then we'll see an explosion in suicides, I'm telling you. Because they're just making it too easy for kids now to fucking just do this. Like you say, with the whole education system, But
you do realise that it's all part of the depopulation plan. This putting kids off having kids, confusing them about the gender, giving them drugs to stop them being able to reproduce. I mean, they put it in the food anyway, but that's too slow a process. What they have to do is try and find a way of making sure that these kids don't reproduce of their own volition, of their own free will. They decide they're not going to be parents because they don't know what fucking gender they are, or they've had some tablets given to them at freaking 12, 14, 16 that's going to prevent them from having kids, or they've had a vaccine that does the same thing. So then the depopulation plan, that's where it works for them, because they're not producing so many children. They're attacking us on all levels. They just want us dead, basically.
But I spoke to Lewis about some of this, about the education system and about kids being pressured into thinking that they're in the wrong body. I asked Lewis about that because he's got better understanding of it than I do, and he's the same frame of mind as me, that kids shouldn't be taught about it. If kids, adults, teens genuinely feel that they're in the wrong body, then they'll do what Lewis did, and that's save up. That's make sure for years that is 100% what they want to do, that there's no fluctuation in their mindset of if they're doing the right thing or not, and they go out of their way to do it themselves. But I mean, Lewis, he's the same mindset of me when it comes to kids, when it comes to introducing people to this. And, he knows more than me that a lot of the people who go through the change isn't because they want to go through the change. It's because they actually had a similar mindset to me growing up. I get along with lads better than I do with girls. I don't like the bitchiness. I don't like the infighting. I don't like any of that. I like having a laugh. I like getting my hands dirty. I like fucking just going out, having a fucking, whatever. And, growing up, I wanted to be a lad because I hung around with the boys. My name, my nickname with all my friends was Tim. My friends called me Tim growing up. The estate literally behind me, they have to get down to get on here. I used to live there before Germany. They all know me as Tim. They still call me Tim because I hung around with the lads. I was one of the lads as far as anyone was concerned. But my biological incentive wasn't that I needed to change the way I was. It was just, being more open about myself sort of thing. So there are situations where it helps. There are situations where it works, but there's too many people are being pushed into it. Tacos move.
They're making it too easy. They're making it too easy for people.
Yeah.
And people made it easy for them.
When I was still working for the council, I went on a course in London for the weekend. And it was people that had the change, and also it was all schools, mostly education. And there's a head teacher there talking about how a 7-year-old preferred to dress up preferred to dress up in girls' clothes and things. And he would do that.
I used to wear my mum's clothes and my mum's shoes. I mean, that's just what boys do. My son used to do it with me. Every time he found my makeup, that's it. It was all over his face.
Well, they were pushing the agenda that they would accommodate him. So after the summer holidays, he came back into school wearing girls' clothes. Well, I'm sorry, but unless we start teaching our children to accept the body that they're in and you're beautiful as you are, no matter what. As a child, that's all they need to know. That's all that child needs to know, is they're accepted, they're loved, and they're perfect as they are, because that's how they were born. They're, but you know, for a reason. And so it's like, until this is the big chunk that's missing out. I mean, it's down to parents mostly, but in school, kids are in school from freaking 2 years old nowadays, you know. So it's like it isn't all onto the parent, because they've got to work to put a roof over that kid's head. So
what I noticed with Lewis is, if you're on the genuine path to going down that route, then the closest people around you are going to know before you do. When Lewis came out and told me, you know, that, you know, he'd already started his sex change, my instant response was, you know what, it's about fucking time. Because you know, his mum's response was the exact same thing. His mum even renamed him, because obviously it's his mum. His mum's the one who gave him the name Lewis. You know, and people around you, they're going to know if it's something genuine, if it's something that, you know, you're genuinely on the path for and that is better for you. The people around you are going to know that that's the best path for you. Even if they don't say anything, they'll be there to support you. If you're going down the wrong route, and, you know, then your family's going to be there to turn around and go, wait, just stop, think about it.
If you're in an environment where you're taught to accept who you are, you accept your body, you accept who you are as a person, physically, mentally, emotionally, and you're taught to deal with your emotions in a healthy way and all the rest of it. If you get to a certain age where you think, well, they're telling me to accept who I am and all the rest of it, but I just can't. Those are the people that know in deep down that they don't feel comfortable, and they just can't bring themselves to accept how they look, their body, whatever, when it comes to gender. But they're not in an environment where they're encouraged to accept who they are. They're in an environment where they're told that they have to accommodate everybody else, every minority. They obviously take priority over you, and it's always, you've got to look after the other person. Even with these masks, think about other people. Well, I'm sorry, but you've got to put yourself first, because if you're not healthy and well in the mind, then you're not going to be any fit for purpose for anybody else. So it's bullshit saying think of other people first. You can't do that. It's not the way it works.
Lee, do me a favour, put on Nikki's comment just above. One of the admins in the chat, so he's not on screen, but he is on here as well. But Nikki's just put this up. Sex ed is now teaching them how to have sex, not the dangers of the precautions. My boy was given a sanitary pad, and not one mention of condoms. Why?
Sex education. The reason the academies get away with teaching sex education the way they do, even though it goes against government guidelines, is because they're an academy and they have free reign over religious education and sex education. So they will teach whatever the agenda, and people need to look at who's behind all these academies and the academy villages and who manages those places, because that's where the rot comes from.
100% does. This is why we always.
Well, guys, I'm gonna have to get off because the baby's going now. I've got to go and.
No worries. We've been on for 3 hours anyway.
2.5 hours, isn't it?
I know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go pick my daughter back up shortly as well. So.
Honestly, I can't thank you guys for coming on. It's been an absolute legend, and Zach, you're an absolute legend.
No
I honestly are.
No worries. You'll be on with us later, won't you?
Yes, I will come on with you.
I ain't gonna fucking do what I'm doing.
Well, same with me when I do the show.
Well, you all take care, and I'll leave you.
Yeah, you take care.
Bye,
Good
everybody.
Luck with everything.
Oh,
Take care.
thank you.
Guys, you're legends.
See you later. Bye.
Bye, guys. I'll help Zach get off because I know Zach struggles getting off. Zach, I can't kick you off because you're logged in. Come back. I'll put him in the background. I can't take him off the stream, unfortunately, though, because he's logged into it, so he needs to log out of it. But yeah, thank you guys for being on. I know it's been a long stream. I know it's gone on for quite a while. So yeah, I can't thank you guys enough for what you've done, for the support that you've shown, you know, for coming and liking what we've got. I know we've had a couple of trolls, you know, jump on and, you know, put the thumbs down in, you know, instead of actually, you know, everyone who's putting the thumbs down in, please email us, see how we can help improve the content that we're giving out there. We don't like calling you trolls, but if we don't know how we can help, then we've got no other option. So yeah, if there's something that we can do to help, make this a more interesting stream for everyone, then by all means, email away. But 1 minute, I feel the problem is that they have destroyed the roles that men and women have had since the dawn of time, that man provides and protects his family and a woman provides nurtures for a family. Now it seems it's people trying to find a whole new role. Yeah. I mean, I prefer the role parent, to be fair. It's neutral, every parent does what they can for their child, so it's just what we can. But anyway, guys, I've been on for absolutely ages and I don't want to waste anyone's time. So I'll be on with Zach later on the Right View channel. So yeah, by all means, tune in, share, like, subscribe, and we'll see you all soon. Take care, guys. Bye.